Welcome to the rat house, baby, where the truth ain't quiet, and neither are you. Where the ChatRats crew slide in, pull up a seat, crime talk, cold facts, and a jazzy backbeat. We got stories to tell, got some justice to serve. So pour up that coffee or something with a swerve. There's Rat Daddy leading 6'5", a cool. Toys the queen with the sharpest of tools. Dean's cracking jokes, Mary B's got the tea, and Lawleen lays the law down, real boss energy. MJ's got the fire, Gingy's taking names, Jesse's dropping Angel Baby's in the game. The clerk's keeping order, Misty's watching close. Pinky promises, keeps receipts, and she does the most. We're the ChatRats, baby, worldwide and bold. Stories unfold while the crime scene gets cold. Puff, puff, pass, and the truth gets exposed. At the rat house, baby, that's how it goes. Snap, snap. Cherry lights it up. Sherry lights it up, neon glow behind her head. Tombstones drops the facts that awake the dead. Connor's taking notes, Janine's on the clock. Petty the paralegal keeps the court on lock. Sweet woman, sweet, but she'll sting if you like. Calypso keeps it cool, got that island vibe. Prince Lover's in purple, that Texas pride glowing. Sherry's laughing loud while the facts keep flowing. Bum, 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 bum. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ghetto. OG coming through, crazy-eyed cheese, oh you better believe. Robo-rat clicks, sparks gears in his head, breaking the code till the lies drop dead. Jump, feel confident, jump. We're the ChatRats, baby, worldwide and bold. Stories unfold while the crime scene gets cold. Puff, puff, pass, and the truth gets exposed. At the rat house, baby, that's how it goes. Crime solving, cracks. Worlds are stage. That's a fact. Together, we're the ChatRats crew. We ain't looking back.
Yo, what's up? What up? What up? What's up? So yeah, my computer won't open Discord again. It's fucking weird. I don't know why it's not opening. It's just strange. So Mary B and Lawleen will have to send me a message on X. I'll send you the link there. What's up with the rest of you folks? What's happening? Vagina Mike, hit the membership. Yeah. It's going to be some tough sledding tonight. Boring content. The Glares over there racking them, stacking them deep, selling them cheap. What up, Cajun? What's up, Barbara? Hello, Mary B. Oh, it just finally opened when Mary B got here. That's weird.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
No.
All right, my speaker was muted.
Oh, you opened Discord for me. Thank you. It's not working right, but it is open.
Yeah, I got the link from our friend BLT.
BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Delivering messages.
So maybe it'll send the link. I don't know.
I can send the links.
Yeah, just send it to Lawleen. I can't read her messages yet. Okay,
I'll send it to her.
Discord is stuck.
That's stupid. Why does it keep doing this shit to you?
I don't know. I'm updating my iPad, but I can't send them from there anyway. Yeah. think. All right, so oh, there we go. It's starting to pop up. I don't know
Hey,
what.
Cheryl.
Thinking they need to update Discord because that is aggravating. So yeah, it's gonna be a rough one tonight, Mary B. You're disappearing into your green screen.
I'm
That was
working
cool.
on it.
That was cool. It's
All right. All right. I think I got it.
electronic, Mary B.
You know,
what you smoking on tonight, Mary B's?
so tonight I have some, what is this one? This is cinnamon sour.
Cinnamon sours.
I need to make a little trip to the dispensary tomorrow because I'm almost out.
Yes, you do.
And that's a problem.
Sorry, I didn't get anything. I've been fooling with this damn Discord all the time. Didn't get anything set up.
You're fine. We're just here to hang out. Let me say hi to people in the chat. Johnny, welcome. Maylin's here. Thunderhorse, BLT. Mike Cryford. I love your new chat rat, Mike Cryford. It's pretty good stuff.
That is a really good fucking chat rat.
I know. She's getting really, really good at these. Green crack is really, really good. That's a good sativa. I like that stuff.
I wanted to watch this, and I know other people are watching it, and I don't care. Fuck it. I didn't have this on the thumbnail either, but I do want to watch this. It's got to be good. You know what I mean? We're going to have to do a lot of commentary. Yeah. A lot of commentary on this, Mary B.
Yeah, I think we can handle that.
Yeah, maybe they won't get mad at us since the Rotten Mango has 6-point-something million subscribers.
Right.
Yes. Make sure if we got any mods here, drop their damn link in the chat. Rotten Mango.
I see a couple mods. I'm a mod, but
yeah,
I'm not a responsible mod. Yeah, that is a cute dress. I like that.
It is pretty cool. So, let's just watch some of this, see what happens. See if we can slither anybody out of Will's room.
And this is her first formal sit-down interview since the acquittal. Welcome to Rotten Mango, Karen.
Hi, Stephanie.
You were facing life in prison.
Yes.
June 18th, you get acquitted. What is that feeling in a way that's comparable to something someone watching can understand?
It's probably the opposite of what someone watching would assume I felt. I am still not quite living in an acquittal world. I thought I would just bounce back like on a spring. It hasn't been that way. I don't quite understand why. I'm trying to understand why I haven't felt more celebratory. And what I think is that I lived with some very singular emotions: fright, anger, and anxiety. It was very intense. Every waking hour, every hour, I thought about my freedom and if I could lose it. And those feelings just don't disappear when a jury foreman says not guilty. I mean, there is, of course, relief, but I don't just wake up the next day and I'm living the life I lived 5 years ago. I felt my grief was being replaced with anger that was then driving this adrenaline. And I woke up every day with a real purpose, and I was appreciative that I was free to pursue this purpose. And then all of a sudden, the purpose is gone, thankfully, but I don't have a routine to go back to. It's not there anymore. I don't have a job. I don't have a home anymore. And I'm just kind of in no man's land. And I still have moments every day, very brief, like a nanosecond, where I think of something. I need to tell Liza Little this for this witness, or
But you don't, because you're free. The trial's over. It's got to be a pretty
I
stressful
totally get what she's saying. It's really hard to just like go back to real life. I mean, like I don't even have a situation that's as serious as hers. You know, I just like lost my job or whatever, and like you think that you have all this freedom and you're gonna like do everything that you always wanted, but instead you're just trying to figure out like what pushes you, what motivates you, like what are you meant to do at this point? I mean, she still has some trials and stuff to do, but I mean, like I totally get the feeling like and then you start judging yourself and you start like kind of picking on yourself like why am I not jumping for joy and just being like doing all those things that I wanted to do because this is what I've been waiting for, but it's not that easy.
Yeah. It can be because you've had this massive amount of fucking stress over your life for 2.5, 3 years, if not a little bit longer, and you're fucking all of a sudden no stress.
Yeah.
Which
You
has
haven't
got to be
planned
stressful. Nobody's calling you. You don't have to plan witnesses and experts and fundraising and
and
hiding
you were
from the
so
public.
focused on that too, that you didn't plan what was gonna happen next, you know,
Yeah.
because you couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't because you didn't know what was going to happen next.
You didn't know what your situation was gonna be.
Yeah, you might be getting 2 sets of clothes for the rest of your life. Damn, I figured we could get more people out of there than this, but we're gonna keep trucking along.
if God forbid I'm ever convicted, I need to make sure I tell my mother this, or it's over the feeling as soon as it starts. But there's definitely some synapses in my head that are still thinking trial hasn't happened yet. It's like when you get ready for the holidays and then you think, wait a minute, did Christmas already happen? It was all this anticipation, and then it's over in a couple hours and you unwrap presents, and it feels like that. Like I have to ask myself, wait a minute, it's over, right? It happened. I don't need to worry about this anymore. But there's this big void in my body and in my mind that, and physically, and what I was doing every day that I don't quite know how to fill. I just feel like a fish out of water. It's weird.
I mean, that's something I was going to
A good way to break it up is for us just to watch both of these simultaneously because I want to watch this too. I love some Alan Jackson. You know what I mean? I love some Alan Jackson. We need to drop Billy Bush's link in the chat. If you're not subscribed already, I don't. You're a weirdo. He has some really good guests on his show. He's good at this too. The whole interviewing and journalism shit. It's just comfortable, loud. The hair is always, look at it.
Seriously,
Not,
that's the thing.
not as messy as the last time we watched one of his videos, but
yeah, he well, I think that he like tries to kind of emulate the guest he's gonna have, and
97.6 thousand subs, rocking and fucking rolling. And I must not have been subbed on this channel. Now I am.
Yep, that's how you sub, everybody. Go do that.
Yeah. That's it. That's how you do it. Do it. Do it.
They should. I think I put a wing on somebody's house with this stuff. Yeah.
Well, boy, you've been through a lot.
It's been a busy week.
It's
Busy
been-
week. Yeah.
It's got to be exciting for anybody to be looking forward to interviewing Alan Jackson. That's like 10 times a Betero. You know what I'm saying? And Betero is a smash fucking hit.
Well, like I don't know, it's Jackson. It's kind of both ways because you know that the interview is going to be so easy because Jackson just like he can take anything and talk about it and run with it and just be so interesting, and at the same time, like just
too easy.
Yeah, but then it's Alan Jackson too, and it's like you just want to impress him, and he's intimidating.
Yeah, it's like having 10 times a Mark Betterow on your show. Can you imagine one day if anybody gets Alan Jackson and Betterow on the same show?
I know, right?
Wow.
Imagine
Wow.
them on the same case. Like that made
Ooh.
us miss out.
Ooh. We
Fucking
almost
Beth.
had it.
She
You almost had one. It was close.
Is it always this like busy and hectic?
But in legal history making fashion, Beverly Canone said, "I will not allow it. I will not allow it."
In
You
your,
know, it's. I would love to say this comes in fits and starts, but it's
A lot of
been
chiefs for
it's
one
been
fucking defense team.
pretty consistent through the last year or so. Yeah, and we're busy. We're busy. I'm lucky. Knock on wood.
is
It's a good
25 the
problem to have.
busiest year before? Has there been a year that's been more chaotic than this? You've represented all kinds
Oh
of.
yeah, if you can get fucking if you can get a Leslie, Alan Jackson, or Betterow on your show, you're gonna kill it. Especially if you're smooth like Billy Bush is with this shit. You know it's coming down the pipe. Gonna be
Oh, but Alessi, I don't know. Alessi is just he is someone you feel comfortable with like immediately. He just like he's such
Yeah.
a good person. Like he has a vibe for real. I was just in his presence and I loved him to death. He's awesome.
You vibed out from the vibes.
Oh my god, he's just so cool and like down to earth, you know? Love him.
I saw the video, y'all fangirl.
Well, I mean, look,
Fangirls.
if I go back to starting in 2022 when I first met this young lady named Karen Riiiide, yeah, my career and my life and my schedule and the rest of the team's schedule has been like shot out of a cannon. So it hasn't slowed down. The last couple of years have been pretty chaotic, but it's good. Look, if you're in the business that I'm in, that's what you want. I want to be in the courtroom. I want to be fighting. I want to do the job that I was trained to do. So yeah, it's good.
And what people don't know about you, and we'll get into some of that. Just about your background. I mean, you literally come from nothing.
Pretty much.
Nothing.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I was raised by a single mom in Texas and grew up very modestly, much more modestly than people think. And ultimately, at 17, I joined the military, went to the Air Force for 4 years because I couldn't afford to go to college. So the military, God bless them, helped pay for college and ended up matriculating through the University of Texas after I got out of the service. And then came out to California and went to Pepperdine. And the only thing I wanted to do from the moment I walked into a mock courtroom at Pepperdine on the campus, I knew I wanted to be in the trial courtroom. I did not want to be a transactional lawyer. I didn't want to do civil work if I could help it, because I know that civil lawyers, as difficult as that job is, they don't go to trial quite as much as criminal lawyers. And so I wanted to be in the trial courtroom as much as possible. So I gravitated toward the DA's office, and that was my training ground. That's where I learned to cut my teeth in a courtroom.
Any TV shows or anything like Matlock or anything that like inspired you when you were a young kid? Like, I want to be that guy.
Honestly, literally all of them, like all of the TV shows, in an amalgamation of them, I watched with great interest, because you can learn an enormous amount of technique and skill in the confines of a courtroom, the theater of a courtroom. So I've watched everything from Law and Order episodes to old Perry Mason episodes to Matlock episodes to movies. A few good minutes.
If you watch enough McCoy on Law and Order, you can bring the heat in court. Just act like McCoy. Paul did everything.
Yeah. I wanted to be a lawyer. I went to my first year of college, I went for political science. And that was my plan, but things happen.
They always do.
And that's what I want to do, criminal defense too. That's
That's pretty good. That's cool.
me and them are very alike. Just kidding.
Yes. You're almost
It's a big one, which has gotten some notoriety obviously of late. I think that's one of the best courtroom dramas
Directed by
Rob Reiner.
What's up, Lawlene?
Hey guys,
Hey girl.
What's happening?
I'm so excited about this content. I could not get my stuff done quick enough to get on here and listen.
I know. It looks like G Layer is gonna be racking them up.
What is he doing tonight?
Petty stream. But he's
Members
doing
only?
this. He's doing this right now until
Okay.
9 o'clock.
I
Then he's
think
doing a petty stream.
I think Billy and AJ go to the same salon for tanning. Like the same spray tan color going on.
Could be the lights in Billy's studio too. I'm sure they got a pretty good light rig going on. They are all on SM7s, so
Are they in the same studio?
sitting right across from each other.
Oh. Oh
And
yeah.
then there's
It
a
looks
big
like two
fucking
drastically
production
different
crew.
places. The way
Yeah.
Like
the
where you are
background
is a huge production crew. There's probably 8 or 9 people sitting there controlling everything. So Billy doesn't control the stream. There's a specific guy for
I'm
that.
gonna
doing-
take it back.
It's pretty
Diane
cool.
keeps telling me to take it back. It wasn't like a diss. It was just I just noticed.
Yeah, tans are cool.
Picked a shitty time to update my iPad.
How would you do that?
I didn't realize it was going to take 45 minutes. That's why. So, but when we can get through this and some of Karen's interview, and then we'll watch some opening statements.
Great.
That's the plan, anyway.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
What's interesting is there are people putting, pen to paper now because of your work. TV shows are being written and procedurals and a movie and most of on Karen. Right. One of them is out with an actress I haven't heard of, but then there's more to come.
You mean you're talking about the Lifetime show?
Yeah.
The Lifetime movie?
There was a Lifetime
That
movie.
is the actress, Katie Cassidy.
Yeah.
Fantastic job. She did a great job. I saw the film over the weekend. She did a terrific job. She is David Cassidy's daughter.
Oh,
who
that's
you
right.
do.
Okay. Yeah.
Partridge Family. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Do
It was
you recommend it?
uncanny how the set designers, the production coordination of that film, the direction of that film, it was uncanny how they captured accurately, first of all, what Karen looked like, down to her shoes, down to her clothing that my character wore, down to the watch and somebody found these bracelets. It was bizarre to watch. It was nuts.
They found your love bracelets?
Well, you call
Do
them
those
love
bracelets, hold those up for a second. Do those have meaning?
well, they're
Canadian one?
designed by a guy named Din Van, a Parisian designer who I found I found the first one in France when I was traveling in France many years ago. And so I bought one, and then when I had my daughter, I bought the second one just to commemorate my love and adoration for her. So I wear these. I never take them off.
How old is she?
She's 6.
6.
6
You have
years
a
old.
6-year-old.
I have a 6-year-old. You're welcome.
That's why you're in
And I
such
run
good
this
shape.
business.
How old is he?
He's in
He's-
his late 50s, has to be.
Late 50s with a 6-year-old. Those people with
That's
money, boy, they
his
just.
second marriage, though, right? Doesn't he have older kids? Like, didn't he have
Oh,
a
I'm
daughter
sure.
graduating or something?
I'm sure.
Why he had to miss a trial date?
You know how people with money are. They'll be 85 years old and have a 3-year-old.
All right, I'll look it up.
What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I think he's got older kids though too. If I remember correctly, that was
Yeah,
why he
they
had to
always do.
miss the
They have
trial
like
date.
30-year range.
They always do.
Keep
They
the young
always
wife.
do. No, they can afford it. They can
No, they
afford it.
always keep a young wife.
Oh yeah, definitely. Trading that shit in.
And a couple
Once
nannies.
that thing hits 20,000 miles, it's going back with the Cadillac. You keep
Care
that
Bear
Cadillac.
says he's 61. Everybody in the chat saying 61.
61. Damn.
I don't know if I trust the people in this chat. Have you read this chat?
That would put him 56 having a child.
This chat's
Right.
always right.
56 years old, I would have had a fucking heart attack
He
when you
didn't say
told
he
me
didn't.
that. After I got through laughing for about 10 minutes, and like, I know you're joking. Like, no, here's the okay. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna put my money on it was planned.
Yeah. For them, not for me. Well, my money is I would have a damn heart attack. Like, nope. Gotta be wrong.
Oh my God, you work as hard as you do. You're in sick shape chasing around a 6-year-old. I
That's
thought
right.
it was complete discipline. Okay, so much to discuss. And but I do love the fact that a guy
I feel like he's going to commercial or something.
Ask. It's been like 6+ months since the acquittal. Obviously, you don't want to go back to trial, but every day you have to get dressed. You have a mission. There's urgency. Was there like a wave of emotions that hit you after the acquittal that maybe you were suppressing during the trial?
The acquittal feels like 3 years ago. When you say 6 months, it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, has it only been 6 months? I already feel like it's been many seasons and many things since then. I've had such an amazing
Wow. I know y'all don't notice this type of stuff. Not that Rotten Mango would have anything like beyond luxurious up in there. But look at this microphone.
Wow.
Shit. Look that up.
I can't even see it. I trust you.
That is about as good as it gets. About as good as it gets.
Now that's a studio.
The
Yeah,
fanciest
so if we
microphone.
go back here and look at Billy's running these SM7s, which are fucking badass. They're top of the line. They're about $500. I believe
Diane
this
G.
is
That's all I can think about when I see that freaking wall part.
nipples, yeah.
Dude, like,
But this is a road. Yeah, that's
ooh,
hot.
what's it supposed to
To
be?
me, it looks like AJ is interviewing with Laura.
Who is?
I said it looks like AJ's interviewing with Laura. Looks like
Why?
his back.
Oh
His
yeah,
back.
the background. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that'll happen too. That'd be cool.
That would be so awesome.
That would be cool.
All right, I'm going inside. It's cold out here.
Hey, how was Connor here? I thought he was banned.
He always gets around the band.
Can you ban people with wrenches?
I can't.
If they're Connor, you can. Who's coming out, by the way, on the 23rd? Who's gonna make the trip to Boston? Hang out.
How far of
Yeah,
a
we
trip
need
is that for you?
to we need
For
to
me?
start rallying
Yeah.
people up to go to do the support system.
23rd at 2:00 at Suffolk Superior Courthouse.
What's up,
Yeah,
Joy?
it's about an hour. It's very
Oh,
similar in
definitely
distance
worth it.
to Dedham.
What's up,
for me.
Swiss? MJ's here. I can't send you a link. Well, I might can now.
Oh, MJ, I thought you could make it. I'm sad.
She's lying. She just doesn't want to go because you said you were going to be there,
Yeah.
and that's to whoever she's talking to. You know, because it could
Connor,
be
you
you.
definitely want to come hang out. Come on.
Oh, he wants to come.
Yes. He loves hanging out with me.
Danny 2026.
That I didn't mean it like that, but yeah.
I interpreted it that way.
You
I never
usually
get
don't.
any of those.
All right, going back to this one.
Getting me out of bed, keeping me up, working on witness prep during trial and motions in between trials. And then it just shuts off. It was like this supply I had that never ended for 4 years. And now it's gone. So I feel physically I'm paying for it now. Like I've got to relearn how to get a regimen and how to source energy and drive every day.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully not ever like it needed to be before June 18th, but some kind of even keel. I haven't found that yet.
Do you like wake up in the morning ever like, oh my God, I'm late to court? And then it's like, okay, I don't have trial. Like I'm free.
I think I would if I were I live with my parents most of the time. So I'm not in the environs that I was in during court. But if I stayed at the Marriott in the Seaport, the Residence Inn, I may feel that way. I do get those moments of something that I want to tell one of the lawyers. I want to remember like, oh, these two dots connect. And then I realize, no, we don't need to know those dots connect anymore. We already addressed it. Thank God I don't wake up thinking I've got to get to court. I wake up feeling very fortunate that I'm not court ordered to be anywhere anymore. It's very frightening to know you are court ordered. This is not a job or school where you should be there. It's best that you're there, but no one's going to come arrest you if you don't go. And this is 2 trials plus 100 pretrial hearings that I am court ordered. It doesn't matter how I feel physically or mentally. I have to be there, and I have to be there sharp because I'm a member of this team. So it's amazing.
Man, remember the one time she was sick?
Yeah.
And the Canon about threw a fucking gasket? Like, drag that bitch in here. I don't give a shit if she's sick. What are you talking about? It's trial.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much she just like
But we're going to go home about 1.
went through.
So,
I thought she was pretty understanding about it. I thought it was kind of like the YouTubers and everyone who was speculating about
well, I
what it
remember her
is.
being huffy and puffy about it.
She
Like,
was huffy and puffy about everything, but I wouldn't say overly teed off about that.
not much you can do unless you want somebody throwing up and shitting themselves in court.
He definitely didn't want her to get any sympathy points that way, I can assure you.
Yeah.
Right.
Ugh. That's gross.
Waking up knowing no one is going to force me to be anywhere today.
What did you do the first 24 hours though after the acquittal? Like 24 hours, what was that like?
The first 24 hours.
What say is the defendant at the bar not guilty or guilty? Not guilty. Defense of operating under the influence, 1 year probation.
Karen, what is life going to be like for you now?
Where are all
That
the
shit
blue
was
shirts?
crazy.
There were 0 blue shirts.
Yeah. I think I saw 2 or 3. There was a couple of people together, I remember, but definitely not what's being portrayed in the media.
That shit's crazy. I could watch that 1,000 times. Maybe not with that music behind it, but I could watch it. That's what woke me up. It was like, hold on.
And part of
Piano.
my favorite memory of that whole ordeal was the false verdict, because I was watching Melanie and Betterow, and Melanie's what the actual F. Like it was just, it was great to hear her say that on the camera.
Good stuff.
A restaurant
but-
nearby, I had orchestrated with them. I didn't make any plans until I was acquitted because there's no way I was gonna set up any kind of dinner before I actually knew I was gonna need that dinner. So I called a restaurant in the Seaport. They gave us a private room. We had been there a few times during trial, and they were amazing. No one knew we.
I mean, that's kind of like BLT's studio.
Is this a joke?
Well, no, I was going to say they're both rooms.
You pay for them both? Okay.
I don't think she's
I see
paying
the
hers
similarity,
monthly.
Danny.
I think she is paying for hers all at once.
We probably got it built at our house.
Shit, you see the Morgan & Morgan cups right there? Shit, Morgan paying for that stuff, boy.
Yeah.
Paying good. No telling what other sponsor. You see these microphones? That's another sponsor. Stands, everything, probably. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is. Super nice.
Were there, and it was my immediate family, my cousins who I'm particularly close to, and my legal team, and my local lawyers brought their families, and that was a very long 3-hour dinner. It was very overwhelming. My phone was blowing up. I wanted to decompress with my parents. I barely even got to speak to them, and the waiter's coming over and asking if I want to do a la carte desserts, and I'm like, I just really want to go back to the hotel and lay on my bed. We were getting requests for Good Morning America and the Today Show and People magazine. I mean, it was all rushing. It was just flooding in, and I don't want to do any of this. I need a beat, and I need to figure out how I'm going to tackle all the media. I was very, very overwhelmed. We all went back to the hotel. All the families, my parents came back. Obviously, all the lawyers were still in town. The following day, I think Liza.
Are you telling me this lady hangs out with snakes on a plane? It's hard for me to put the two together.
Might have been the first to leave. David was leaving. Bob was leaving. My parents left in the morning, and Alan and I said, I just want to have a day. He was leaving the second day, 2 days after the verdict, and we just walked around, went to our haunts that we ate at during trial. And it's like, I'm going to walk in with Alan and have a meal that I've never had with him without this albatross around my neck. I've never eaten a meal or had a bowl of chowder with any of these people as a free woman. And it was a really sunny, warm day. And I ran into.
Hold on, is have a bowl of chowder some kind of Massachusetts thing, Mary B?
I have never really done it as a thing, but I mean, I guess if
I
it
mean,
can
as a
be a thing, that would
saying,
be it.
I mean, as something people say, like,
I-
let's break some bread. Let's have a bowl of chowder together,
Substitute it with gumbo or bisque. It'll make more sense.
and let's
Yeah,
eat some
it's
gumbo
like
and
a
talk
thing
about it.
if you have someone that's like visiting from out of state or like just hasn't had the experience yet, you definitely want to have a bowl of chowder with them. That is a thing.
And G says it runs straight through you, basically.
And
It
we don't
depends.
want that chowder
I'm
then.
very like I didn't even eat seafood until I was like an adult. So I'm very picky about like where I get it from.
Why? Did you think you were allergic to it or something?
No, I didn't like it. I just didn't like eating things from the sea. I was always like kind of nerdy about the sea. I love marine
What?
life.
Everything from the sea is good, almost everything.
So I
I don't
feel
know.
horrible when I'm doing like H&Ps on people down here in the South and they're allergic to shellfish. I'm like, why don't you move? Like,
Yeah, you better
Yeah,
get the fuck out of
I
here.
had my first, and it
It's
was
in
clam
everything.
chowder that actually changed my mind too. I had my first bowl of clam chowder at my cousin's wedding in Kennebunkport, Maine. So I'm a wicked Maine snob. So like I'll generally only eat seafood when I'm in Maine.
I
But
would like to
Boston,
have authentic clam chowder. I mean, I've had it when people made it down here, but I know it's not the same.
yeah, you gotta have the good stuff.
Yeah.
Boston
Manhattan
says
clam chowder.
lobster used to be the poor
is
man's
blasphemy.
food. So did crawfish.
I was like,
So did
crawfish
fucking
is like
crawfish.
compared to
But you know what the
lobster.
price for crawfish in Mississippi is as of today? $9
It was
a
nine
pound.
something in here. Yes, nine
What the
something a
fuck?
pound for
Get out of here
crawfish
with
right
that
now.
bullshit. Them things used to be $1 a pound. Get out
And
of
you
here.
know they're like the size of your pinky right now too.
Yeah. How
Dude,
about we
the thing
don't
with
eat them for about 5 years, so there'll be so many of them, the price will go down.
lobster here, you don't even know how much you're paying for it. You go to a restaurant,
Yeah.
it's on the menu, and it says market price, and it's like,
Yeah.
they could
What are
literally
you
just put
deciding
any
at the time
number.
you sell it to me? I know what you're talking about because I worked in the restaurant business for so long. But we already know what we're charging that day. It's not
Yeah.
going to change during the shift. Like, hold on, guys, lobster just went up, baby. It's not gold. Okay,
Yeah,
it
like,
doesn't have a
they
fucking
have like a little
stop.
chart on the wall that's going
Yeah,
up.
It's on the NASDAQ stock exchange.
Yeah,
these 22
like, no.
lobsters are on the exchange.
And no
this
one wants to be
one
that
just
asshole
went
that's
up.
like, oh, what's the market price?
But I fucking love lobster. I'll eat
MJ's other mama doesn't eat seafood either.
crawfish
What
are
is
great,
wrong with people?
especially some good spiced
Mom's here.
Mississippi crawfish.
Well-
Oh, but I'm not paying $9 a pound to eat some crawfish.
And you won't have to in a couple months, and they'll have size
I'm not
to
going
them.
to in a couple months either. Not going to
I
do
said
it.
you won't
Fuck.
have to because they won't be they're that expensive because they're not ready yet. It's not seasoned. So it's all those people who can't wait to eat some. They'll pay it.
They ought to limit the seasons so that the crawfish can fucking grow up.
For real.
Because people get pissed when they go in and pay $9 and then you come out there and dump like a fucking 32-ounce cup worth of fucking thumb-sized crawfish down there.
Like
Son, you
bait.
get your ass beat up in there. You'll get beat up immediately. Like, did you
Well,
ask to come to Boston?
I could send you several videos off TikTok of fights that have happened at our drive-through crawfish places here. There are so
Oh, there's no
many
doubt.
fights between the people driving through and the staff.
When I
They're
was younger,
hilarious.
people didn't eat crawfish. They had shrimp bowls. They
Yeah,
didn't do crawfish bowls. They did shrimp bowl.
shrimp's still very popular bowls here too.
Mm-mm. Just handfuls of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And shrimp.
love it. Make yourself sick on some shrimp. Some of that bowl shrimp.
Shrimp.
This bowl
Alessi's
shrimp
girl is
down there where Longlean's at.
Alessi's girl's the lobster version of Bubba.
Oh my god.
Someone that I used to work with at Fidelity, didn't see a long time. It was just, I felt like I was in a dream though.
Mhm.
I would say it was like the happiest day of my life. It
Oh, that's
still hadn't like hit me yet. It just felt surreal. And I felt sad. Like, so I'm gonna go back to the hotel, pack up my things, and then where do I go? And everyone else is going, you know, my friends are going to travel back and go back to work, and the lawyers are going to go to other projects. And,
All right.
you know, even my
Garth, we're going to kick Garth's ass out if he keeps talking like that. Oh, salmon. Don't fuck around with the salmon. Oh, there's nothing
And he
better.
also said Manhattan clam chowder earlier, which was offensive. That was offensive to me.
That was offensive.
Yeah, I'm offended.
Well, you can't make gumbo the same everywhere. You just can't do it. You can't make it taste the same as it does in Louisiana.
Absolutely not.
Maybe it's the water or whatever, but it's something.
The water's the color of the roux already.
Yeah, that's why it's so damn dark.
parents will go back to their routine, and my siblings.
Shit in
And
it.
it's just, where do I go? I was not planning with 100% certainty I would be here today. It's weird to live a day that you never planned on. I never made a plan for June 19th or 20th or the 21st because I didn't want to jinx anything. And I didn't know that I'd be there. I didn't even book a dentist appointment. So it's all of a sudden now I've got nothing. And just very surreal is the best word I can think to describe it.
Is it like someone just comes and like shakes your snow globe and then leaves?
Yeah, yeah. And then everything just settles and it just gets like eerily quiet, like it does after a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Before the plows come through, it's just dark and silent, and it's still like feels like that. It's getting. I'm starting to feel my way around, like defining what my life is going to be, but it's getting easier. But I do feel I've had this delayed. I
bet she had some women crying. I bet you are crying during that.
I'm not crying, but she is doing an excellent job of relaying her raw emotion.
Yeah,
Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I
I
can
felt that.
feel her pain. I can feel her anxiety just watching what she's doing with her hands. And then obviously her voice cracking, but the way she's describing, that's still very raw.
Boston Babe says they do New England clam bakes. Oh my God. I'm starving now.
Danny, we all got to take a trip up there, and then they all got to come down here.
So,
Yeah, that's where I was always like made fun of by my family when I was a kid, because we used to do clam bakes every summer.
Ooh.
And they'd have to get like hamburgers for me because I didn't eat any of it. And they're like, "How can you live
I
here?"
bet if you'd got hungry enough, you'd ate them clams.
I wouldn't
You'd
touch
have been
them.
over
They
there
had
in the
lobsters and
fucking
clams, and I used
fridge
to name
later.
the lobsters, and they would crawl around, and they were so cute, and then they'd boil them.
Exactly. You try to do that before you eat them so you don't die.
I know, but it was sad.
Well, have you ever noticed any of the other animals on this planet?
Yeah, I noticed all the
That
animals.
burger that you ate.
Guess what
I
they do?
know, I know.
They eat other
I'm really
animals.
starting to feel bad about eating animals. Like, this is a real thing that's happening to me lately.
Don't ever watch videos about it. Like a lot of vegans.
No, I know, because that's
will
the
try
thing.
to
I
get
read
you
too
to watch
much.
these videos, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I
not
see
doing
the
it.
things that they do, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I contribute to this.
Well, do you know how many lobster are in the ocean?
I know.
So many that if we didn't eat some of them,
They
they
die
would
from
probably
overpopulation.
exactly.
They take over the world.
And we don't even
But
make a
the
All
dent in.
ocean,
slaves to lobsters.
Yeah, we don't
the
even make a
ocean
dent in
is
crabs and shit like that.
3/4 of the earth, though. I mean, land is 1/4 of the earth. So
Well,
the
at least we
argument
know
works
if you
with
get stranded
seafood.
on an island, don't sit on the island and die with all this delicious seafood just right there, willing to hold
Yeah.
on to the rope while you pull it in slowly. You know what I'm saying? I got your ass.
Reaction
Can't get
to
picky
the
at that point. No.
persecution,
I'm boiling
not
your
delayed
ass.
reaction to the acquittal. I'm finally like reacting to this horrible thing that happened to me, and I had to swallow and roll with it, and now I'm digesting it. Like I swallowed something horrible, and it's just sat in my body, and now I'm finally breaking it down. I feel like I'm having to address things that I swept under the carpet. like emotionally.
Yeah.
It's you just your body kicks into this fight or flight, and my body is very good. My mind is very good at kicking into fight. I work very well under stress and pressure, and it got even better. That characteristic got refined during the last 4 years. But you can't do that to your body
I'm not laughing.
and to your mind.
Laughing at these people in the chat.
Someone has to explain that one to me. I saw something about no neck or something.
You are crazy.
Joy was the one.
I don't know that
saying
term. I don't know that
it?
term.
Okay.
You need to have oysters, Rockefeller, somewhere in the French Quarter, New
Oh my
Orleans,
gosh.
Louisiana, and you'll never eat anywhere on the planet again. Oh,
And
char-grilled
also-
oysters are so fucking good. Oh,
The
I
lobster
can't eat
bisque-
oysters. I am, I believe, allergic to.
The
How do
lobster
you know?
bisque down there. Oof.
How do you know?
Well, so I've only ate oysters like a handful of times, and
Eaten.
every single time, huh?
Eaten.
Eaten, sorry. Correcting my fucking grammar now. What is this, school?
Flip
So
it.
I've only eaten oysters a couple of times, and every single time that I did, later, like within a couple hours, I get violently ill.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I've
you're
actually
allergic to them.
tested this theory because it was originally like my family makes an oyster stew every Christmas, and everyone's always raving about how good it is, but I never ate it until like it was a few years ago. I tried it for the first time, and that night I was actually hooking up
They
with
did
some
it every
guy.
year, even though they knew
Oh,
you were
wait,
allergic
Danny,
to
stop. He was at the good part of the story.
it.
Yeah, I was like hooking up with like this new guy that I started dating, and I had to stop in the middle and be like, I have to go throw up violently for a really long time. And it was weird.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I did not put 2 and 2 together until next year. I tried the oyster stew again. The same thing happened. So then I went to another restaurant and tried oysters there to make sure it wasn't just the oyster stew. And the
Dang,
same
girl,
thing
you were
happened.
determined.
Yeah,
Yes,
you wanted some oysters
I
bad.
need to research things. So
I mean, it is kind
Char-grilled
of odd that you didn't get a
oysters,
rash from your
Rockefeller.
stomach or something, though.
Mm.
Most people with food allergies will get a rash on their abdomen.
Everywhere
Yeah,
cooking char-grilled oysters in New Orleans, when you walk past them, oh my God. It's the greatest
And
smell.
barbecue shrimp.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, barbecue shrimp is another one. Grits.
Oh,
Ugh.
barbecue shrimp.
Ruth Chris's actually
Diane
has some of the
G.
best barbecue shrimp I've ever eaten.
Diane G, grow up.
He's on one tonight, man.
I was a
He's got potty humor.
representative or someone else.
As I love
It's
saying,
all one.
you can ask anything you want,
Yeah.
but I will not
It is
answer that.
not that.
I also grew up watching Matlock, so we'll see how we do here. Had you read the news before? Was this out when you got the call? Can I say, was this like out of left field? Huh? What? Who? Or had you seen on your phone, like everyone else, that this, oh my God, that did happen?
I was aware, but only within minutes.
Minutes
not-
before, like just like serendipitous timing.
Correct,
Someone had said,
correct.
"Oh
I
my
was-
God, can you hear about this?" And then all of a sudden, your phone rings. And
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
I was
Huh.
deeply deinvested in the case that I was out in New York for, which is what I do. I tend to get hyper focused. Whatever I happen to be working on at the time, that is my focus at that moment. And so I was not reading social media. I wasn't reading the news. I was reading and studying the circumstances surrounding the case I was out in New York for. So I was a little bit in the blind, but yeah, I found out close enough in time, about the same time as everybody else.
We are, by the way, it's going to take all of us Matlocks. We're going to have to work as one here. So the chat section is wide open. We are live as live can be. So Steve, if you see anything, and guys in the control room there, if you see anything that, a question.
Yeah, we're on it. We're on it.
We'll
And
certainly-
there's a lot of people in for sure. So
There's a lot of people.
people
popping
love
in.
Ellen Jackson.
Yeah, I say welcome. Thank you for,
Yes, Tim. There's the behind the scenes crew, Mary B. They're like,
Oh, that's a fun touch. I like that.
yeah, so anything he needs right there, he's got these guys making sure all of this stuff's going good. Any kind of teleprompter shit, and running
Yeah,
the
they get
stream
like they
yard
get
or
little
whatever they're
shout outs.
streaming out of. Pretty cool.
I like that. I like the
I
shout
feel
out.
like that's what is the guy's name? John, that does everything for Laura, John and Kelsey. I feel like that's how they are, but they're remote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could easily do StreamYard. I could do it for somebody else, like,
Yeah.
and go to sleep. It's
It's like
easy.
the Fred at Howard Stern. He does all the background shit.
Exactly.
Unsung
Care
hero.
Bear. Care Bear says y'all hit that like.
Yeah, y'all hit that like. Hit them super chats too. This is gonna be one of them Long slitted nights.
To all of our loyal audience who has been with us for the whole year, and to all of my former television colleagues who are watching now because of our guest. But anyway, so you get this call. I'm going to ask you, but
Sure.
you know, were the siblings sort of immediately wanting to help Nick? Was the person on the other end of the phone call? This was, you know, we want, as tragic as the event is, we want to help our brother too.
Again, I don't mean to be coy, and I know you got to ask the questions, and a lot of people are interested, but I have to show fealty and loyalty to the confidentiality that attends that kind of phone call, that kind of communication. I can tell you that immediately thereafter, I dropped everything. I sent out a team. You're back in Los Angeles.
You accepted the job right away. That we know you accepted the job.
I got on a flight nearly immediately. I had to go to court before I could get on a flight, and I changed my flights and immediately flew back to Los Angeles that same day. Unexpectedly. And then from that point forward, for the next about 3 weeks, it was all this case all the time. And the entire team dropped everything to make sure that we were showing as much or giving as much of our energy to Nick as we possibly could.
So let me ask you, in a situation like that, what are the priorities here? Like what you're in New York, you're on a case, you're working. This comes in, it's like, let me wrap what I'm doing here. Not that case in New York is any less important to you.
It's not any less important.
But you know that this is something that's we're gonna have to get some legs underneath. I'm gonna have to go back and touch in with people. What's the list, you know, for you when you're accepting a client and you're prioritizing where that person goes? Are you looking for because you've represented some people who are not overly sympathetic. You've represented some unlikable people. You don't seem to shy away from that. What is it that, what boxes need to be checked in what order?
Well, every case is different, obviously. Every case is wildly different. There's no two cases that sort of feed the same formula. There is no formula, but there are some hurdles. There's some landmarks, if you will, when you start defending a case. I could be brought on just before trial. I could be brought on when the case is nearly about to settle. I could be brought on at any point during the life or the arc of the case. So different priorities for each one of those circumstances. Sometimes you're brought on a case and it's complete and utter triage mode. That was this case, obviously. Drop everything, get back here, and start putting together as much as we can to envelop the client in the protections of the Constitution. That is what I have fealty to. So I couldn't care less. By the way, you mentioned, well, there's certain people that are not as popular that you've represented. My job is not a popularity contest. My job is to protect the Constitution, and I do it for any and every citizen that contacts me, and I'm hired by them.
But sometimes that deflects off onto you. Like,
you hear those keywords, and I'm hired by them, because I'm sure when they get the estimate of the bill, you know that, well, this is probably what it's going to cost you. It's one of those where everybody looks at everybody. Now, Ronner, he may have had the money, but could have accessed it.
That's what I felt like too.
Like, he could have had the money, but it was frozen, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, attorneys, I would think, would take it on contingency in that case because they know the funds are going to be available in the state eventually, plus for the popularity and the coverage they're going to get for doing it. So I'm intrigued to find out what exactly happened.
How long is it going to take to get my money out of the estate when I get done with this trial?
Yeah, but I mean, think about
$600,000.
the notoriety and fame he gained from representing Karen to Rob Reiner. You know, I mean, everybody's gonna know the victim in that case.
After Karen Riiiide, he is like, you know, he's on everybody's list now, especially if you got money. You know,
it's probably something like totally random and specific, like something's written in the will or something about like who.
He's got that Jose Baez energy right now, where he just won a big case. He can't figure out which client probably he wants to take because so many people are calling him now. I mean, like they weren't calling him before, but you know, he was
we already know he
in
got
LA for a long time.
He got paid a lot from the boy's family with the vehicular
There's some
homicide.
documentaries on Netflix I was watching. They're older, and he was on those documentaries as the prosecutor. It was like some kind of cold case stuff. It may have been last year.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going for insanity. Sorry, I'm answering something in the chat. I definitely think insanity is it, and I agree. But I think, I think probably there's something like there's a family attorney or something like that. Like they have representation. I don't know. That was my assumption.
Garth says my mom refused to eat mussels. She said they look like, glanced around and then whispered, women's privates. Oh, God.
That's cute.
Ugh. Okay, now we're not eating mussels anymore. Little vaginers. Yeah. All right. We're going to pair something else with this in a minute.
Why would Alan Jackson, a tremendously... people don't get that. They don't care.
If it deflects off on me, then...
Why would he represent Harvey Weinstein? Why would you do anything with that man? Or Spacey, if they feel... Kevin Spacey, if they feel that way.
Every single person, every citizen in this country is entitled, before they are committed, right? Before they are committed to a prison cell, before they're committed to a conviction, before they're committed to a trial, every single citizen has the exact same series of constitutional rights, and they are embedded in the fabric of our society. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you're accused of. The government has to get it right every single time, right? They don't have to just get it right. They have to get it perfect every single time. So I don't discriminate between client to client, who did what, or to whom, when, and where. That is not for me to judge. My judgment and my loyalty and my fealty, my focus, hyper focus, is on making sure that the government gets it right. At some point, Billy, there's a point at which the government intends in a criminal case, most criminal cases, if it includes a prison sentence, they intend to take the most valuable thing you have as a human being away from you. That is your liberty. You're sitting at that desk. You're sitting behind that microphone because you chose to, right? You drove here this morning because you chose to. Now, switch that. You no longer get to choose what you wear in the morning. You're given a set of clothes by the government. You don't get to choose what time you wake up or go to bed or what you do for a living. You're in a cell. You're at the mercy of the government. They've taken away your liberty and your right to live a free life, right? That comes with consequences, meaning it comes with consequences for the government. Before they can take those rights away, you damn well better get it right. You better cross every T. You better dot every I. You better make no mistakes. You better not cut any corners. And that's where I step in. No matter who the citizen is, they're entitled to absolute protection under the Constitution. And I am, at least I like to think of myself and my team as the protectors of that Constitution and that citizens' rights.
So what was the most pressing issue with Nick? Of all the issues that could be was, this person could have their rights taken away, forget about the horrible thing he's accused of. Or was it, this is high profile, this is good for the business, we're gonna,
no, I don't care about that. I don't know in advance what's going to be high profile and what's not. I mean, obviously, certain cases are going to get more media attention than others, but that never weighs into my decision making in terms of how I approach a case. I approach a case the same way every single time. Protect the client's interests. Protect against any potential government overreach. If the government gets it right, if they do everything exactly right.
All right, Lolly, it's time we start this.
I was going to say, I noticed a couple of people in the chat. One was local to California, was saying that there was a conflict between one of the witnesses that was going to be called and that AJ had represented him. I mean, I don't know. It might be different in California, but I don't know that would keep him off the case.
Not unless it was like an ongoing retainer or some shit. Somebody with some money. Mm-hmm.
Who had a vested interest in testifying one way versus the other.
We'll try not to let the opening statements get boring, but I don't think they were. And my wife said there's a couple of small cigars in here.
Can you recap what this one's about?
This guy killed unalived 4 of his relatives and set fire to 2 houses in New Jersey in 2018.
Is this the one that one of them was a brother and it was over a business dispute and stuff?
I don't know that much about
them together. And you saw where they made an arrest.
You need to do some background on it, but we're going to let the opening statements tell us.
You saw where they made that arrest in that dentist and his wife's case?
Yeah, I want to do that too. I saw
her
that.
ex was arrested.
Her ex-husband was arrested, yeah.
Yeah, I saw the mugshot, but I haven't
drove like
into the details.
15 hours away after he did it too. Crazy. But yeah, we don't do that. I don't have a lot of the background on this because we're we just became the jury again. And if
Okay.
it's good and we keep watching it, that'll be fun.
Yay.
So we'll see if the opening statements tell us what's going on. And it's the old school too, so I'm going to have to skip around on it.
Open-minded.
Here we
Trial
go.
Channel's not doing it.
Do we need to swear in the jury?
Yes.
There's 77 jurors as of now.
Everyone raise your right hand.
Yeah.
I
think-
swear.
We're going into this open-minded and following the law.
Yeah, there's children involved in this for sure. For sure. But I don't know. Is it something we can't show on here? Surely they're not going to be showing that.
A 10-week trial?
Barb
Yay.
says it's heavy. How bad is it? Didn't Melanie Little watch this today?
I think so, yeah.
Or recap it?
Yeah, we can watch it. It's just like, especially if you've already heard of it, it just might be something you want to turn down.
I'm gonna bounce around still, so no, I won't let it get too heavy once we get it there. Come on.
And he stabbed his niece Sophia into stabbed his nephew Jesse and he shot her multiple times, them down. And in the dark, in the shock and confusion.
Damn, that went far.
And in there, in the chaos and confusion, having been awoken from sleep, in the shock and terror of having their home invaded, and in the dark, the defendant hunted them down. He stabbed his sister-in-law, Jennifer, multiple times in her back, her chest, and her abdomen, and he shot her in the head. He stabbed his nephew, Jesse, multiple times in his upper body and threw his arm into his chest. And he stabbed his niece, Sophia, 17 times over her entire 45-pound body, including deep stab wounds in her face and the top of her head. And when he was all finished, he went into the basement, inside of the cedar closet, where he started a fire. It was a slow-burning fire that smoked and smoldered for hours before anyone was
This thing doesn't have caps.
He cut the Verizon fiber optic line in the basement that fed into the optical network terminal, and then he left. He drove back to
Was that the beginning of the statement?
27 Tilton Drive in Ocean Township.
Yep.
About 20 minutes away.
Dang, she just went in hard.
2 adult daughters were sleeping. He took the gun he used and he swapped out the barrel. So one of the things you're going to learn during the course of this trial is that bullets travel through the barrel of a gun. And ballistically, the bullets can be matched up to the barrel while the shell casings can be matched up to the gun itself. What the evidence will show is that the defendant removed the barrel from the gun he used and he replaced it with a different barrel. And then he put the gun away inside of a metal locker in his basement. He took off his clothing, including his blood-stained jeans and his bloodied black nitrile gloves. He put them all in a pile in his basement underneath the window well. And then he went outside around back to that basement window well, just above where that pile was. And he started a fire there too. Except this time the defendant got his own family out, safe and sound. Now, Jesse and Sophia, on the other hand, were not safe or sound. What you're going to learn is that while their parents, Keith and Jennifer, were both deceased at the time the defendant set fire to their home, both having sustained fatal gunshot wounds to the head, those children were still alive. The medical examiners are going to tell you that the children's autopsies revealed that in addition to being stabbed repeatedly, they also exhibited signs of smoke inhalation. And so the evidence will show that Jesse and Sophia were still alive and breathing after their uncle repeatedly stabbed them. Still alive and breathing after their uncle set fire to their home and left them. Still alive and breathing as the smoke began to rise from the basement. And that, you will learn, is how those two children spent the final moments of their lives. Bleeding to death and inhaling smoke. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the defendant, Paul Caneiro. One of the things you're going to learn during the course of this trial about Uncle Paul is what motivated him. What motivated him on November 20th of 2018 to do what he did? And that, the evidence will show, came down to none other than greed and desperation.
Over 7
We'll
years?
talk more about the motive evidence shortly. But before we do that, it's important to understand how the investigation of this case began and some of the other evidence that it revealed. So let's pick up where we left off. You're going to learn that the defendant arrived back home to 27 Tilton Drive in Ocean Township in his white Porsche Macan at 4:08 a.m. A little less than an hour later at 5:02 a.m., the Ocean Township Police Department received an alert for a basement fire alarm activation at the defendant's residence. The first couple of patrolmen were on scene within a few minutes. The defendant, his wife Susan, and their two daughters, Caitlin and Marissa.
Oh yeah, it took 7 years because it got postponed for COVID.
COVID?
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's still a long time after courts were back open to get it back on the docket.
Yeah, for sure. That's a long ass time.
And I'm assuming he's been in jail with no bond.
Probably so. I don't know. We'll find out.
A car. It was Susan's car. It was a Porsche Cayenne, and it was parked across the street from their house. Now you're going to get to see photos of 27 Tilton Drive. But just to give you a visual, it was a 2-story house with a full basement and an attached garage. So if you're facing the house, the garage would be all the way to the left. And there was a driveway that wrapped around and went right up to those garage doors. Now, parked in the driveway that morning were multiple cars, including the defendant's white Porsche Macan. It was actually a loaner car, and it was parked facing that last garage door, closest to the left. Now, the fire was on the complete opposite side of the house. So again, if you're facing the house, the fire would be all the way to the right and around back in that back right corner, right in that basement window well. The fire ended up traveling all the way into the attic and spreading. And to make matters worse, the fire had been set right near the natural gas meter. So when the first couple of patrolmen arrived on scene and saw this, they quickly began evacuating the neighboring houses. Now you're going to learn about 2 other areas of fire at the defendant's house that morning. The second area of fire was back over by the garage. When the first couple of patrolmen arrived on scene, they saw and they quickly extinguished this tiny little fire right at the bottom corner of the garage door. And then the third area of fire that morning was actually the Porsche Macan itself. It had burn marks all over it. Now, in addition, you're going to learn about some items of evidence that were collected from the driveway and garage area that morning. You're going to hear that there was a red gasoline can with a melted nozzle lying near the garage door by the Porsche Macan, that there was a charred, dark-colored glove located in the driveway, and in the back seat of the defendant's Porsche Macan, officers located a little piece of what appeared to be a black nitrile glove. In addition, you're going to learn that a DVR recording system was collected from the defendant's garage that morning. Now, everyone was on scene for several hours that morning, including the defendant and his family. And during that time, officers and fire investigators were making efforts to determine how the fires might have started. Remember,
Hey, Danny, just real quick.
What's up?
There's some people in the chat that are confused about these fires. There's 2 separate fires, 2 separate homes. So supposedly he's being charged with going to his brother's home and basically annihilating the family, starting a fire there, and then coming home and stripping the clothing where the large fire in the basement was. So he's had 2 fires going on at 2 brothers' homes, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but we are watching the Karen Reed interview.
without paying the piper eventually.
Yes.
And that's, I feel like
Doing
I
it
had to do
tandem.
that.
Have you ever like dealt with depression during the trial, even now?
No, I've never really dealt with it ever.
Mm.
I don't know if it's depression or if it's like PTSD. But no, I didn't feel, I was angry most of the time, angry. And I felt very lucky that it's a disservice to the people around me who are the most amazing people anyone could ask for. And I'm not inclined to depression. So I'm not surprised. I went through a normal grieving process, but I didn't feel down that I had to sell my house and everything in it that I curated myself. I felt, you know, and I had a conversation with Alan that don't look at it as, you know, the government is robbing you of this. Like they're using your taxes to prosecute you, and you're having to go through every asset and liquidate it. Look at it as an investment you made before you ever knew you'd be in this situation, and now it's paying off when you need it. And you're going to use this house to save your life. And you know, I get a lot of words of wisdom, but they don't all resonate, and that did. But I think I really just feel that I've been running on endorphins that are now the spigot just shut off, and I've got to inspire myself in ways like everybody else wakes up. And I look at everyone around me like, get up and live lives and find inspiration, or physically and mentally. And I just have to do that like a normal person now, like retrain it.
Yeah.
I just can't put the two together. Help me put the two together. I don't get it.
What?
Who she chooses to be friends with. I don't get it. I don't feel like it.
I don't think it's a matter of choosing friends. I think it's a matter of acting out of anger towards a person.
I don't know. She just seems very soft spoken, you know.
We've heard her not very soft spoken.
Yeah, but even when she was mean, she wasn't that mean. Thank you for the gifted membership. They're raining and yeah. Anyways.
In Glaire's chat?
Oh yeah.
But we're being forced to be members there, Danny. Stop it.
Why?
You're chaining us in the basement and he's forcing us to buy memberships. That's the argument.
Well, it's working.
There's actually some people, perhaps a lot of people out there that think you are sitting on a beach,
It's
you are
working
cashing in
good.
on a book deal, a documentary deal. Like they think that you are good, you're set, you're enjoying your life. Is that what it really is like?
So we have announced that we're working with a publisher. This is Luke Janklow, and a producer in Los Angeles. That's Julie Yorn on the movie and TV side of things. So I've only announced that I have agents and I have these producers helping me to sell this.
Mm-hmm.
I have made nothing on the documentary. In fact, I lost trying to fight for a piece of the proceeds from the documentary. I went into the documentary thinking that there was this Son of Sam law in Massachusetts, which prevents defendants from profiting. Or, you know, you can't commit a crime and then write a book from prison and send your kids to college on the back of this crime.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Son of Sam law in Massachusetts, which we found out in the middle of making this deal with the documentaries, which was great. So I can get paid at any point in this legal process, even if I were convicted. We were not paid. I was not paid. No member of my team was paid anything from the documentary. It was very legally involved. I believe I was misled and taken advantage of, and we gave the documentarian our all. I did not see the documentary. I watched the end of the final episode. I don't know if there are 4 or 5. David, several people told me there was a nice moment with David and me at the end of the last episode. So I did watch that and I liked it. And then I watched Dave and I said goodbye at the hotel. And then the documentary ended with me in my basement at the house I no longer live in with all the legal boxes, because the documentary ended at the mistrial. So I think she was trying to show, here I am just back, stuck at go again with our paper shredder and our printers. And I think I was like vacuuming the floor, and I was like, all right, I've seen enough. People close to me who watched the documentary said, based on what I had predicted it would be, it was not that. And I thought, this documentary experience has not been fun. It was incredibly invasive, which I knew it would be, but we still gave them more access than they could have ever hoped for. And the documentarian, I feel, went out of her way to excise us from enjoying not one dime of the.
Oh, that's crazy. I wonder what they made off of the documentary. That's what we need to know. Like, what were they paid in total for that documentary? Which, you're getting paid on it as long as people are watching it too. So could have been a lot of money.
Of the proceeds. And based on what little I saw and what I've heard of the product.
What's crazy to me is with her defense team, no one knew there was no Son of Sam law in Massachusetts.
$5 million. And can't nobody look up a law?
I mean, you would think like David
At least
Yannetti
one of them. Yeah,
would
Yannetti's
have
local.
experience with that. Or that others locally would have advised them of that. That's kind of mind-blowing to me. Or especially Alan Jackson with all of his experience with high-profile cases and stuff in California where movies are made, like he wouldn't have asked that.
Yeah, because you can get screwed over easy in places like that. Especially LA, you would think.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd that not even Alessi knew that. The king of random information.
And she hasn't mentioned the Lifetime one yet. She's just talking about the documentary that Hank ended up using so much footage of in trial too.
Yeah.
I don't need your money. You know what you did. You know what we gave you every day. My family, you were in our living quarters. You were in the SUV with us every day. You know what we gave you, and you know what kind of story you had from us, and you used us. You know you did. And I wish just never to cross paths with you again. I will tell my story with more control. We don't have a book deal. I think Alan and I will be co-authors on a book. There will be no book written by someone, even with just some creative input by me. It will be written by probably 3 people, a professional, and then Alan and I will be helping to tell the story. So I want this to be a story about corruption. I want to have some impact.
How fast do you think that damn book's going to sell?
Pre-ordered.
Yeah. Might want to get the printer out. You're going to be printing some of them.
On the state where I've lived most of my life and where my family's from.
On the what?
Joy was saying in the chat, I do agree with the Son of Sam law if you're convicted. And I was just saying, yeah, I totally agree with that too.
Yeah.
And you could have people doing premeditated M's just to
get
finance
notoriety, to be able to sell books.
or to finance their children's futures. I mean, people will get desperate.
Yep. You can see that happening for sure. For sure. Somebody has.
And where we battled this, I want to make an impact on what people think about politics, about the government, about the dangers of a one-party political system, which is what Massachusetts is. It's not about liberal or conservative. It's about being one party from the founding of that government with no competition, no checks and balances. It becomes almost anarchy, like it is now. We've got a district attorney who has a war chest despite not having any opposition. It's dangerous, and I believe that is why I got where I was and why I got into this position, and why until it changes, there will be other Karen Reeds. You may not hear about them. These stories, Sandra Birchmore, it's getting exposed. Other people are exposing it as well. That's what this story will be. Okay. And if I have to write it myself, then I'll write it myself.
Even on that note, I do feel like I've heard a lot about you. I've heard a lot of clips of you. I've watched the whole documentary series, Body in the Snow, and I feel like you're very different from that. You know, the way that you're presented in the documentary and then versus like when you walked in.
I've gotten very good, and I was not good at this in my prior life. I've gotten very good at controlling what I let upset me, because so much has been taken from my control with a judge, with a district attorney, with the state police. I've been arrested. I've had my home 2 years later searched for electronics. Once someone comes in your home, you have no safe place anywhere. They've been in my parents' home. They've been in my house 3 times. So I've had to learn to control what I can control, which means not falling down a rabbit hole on Twitter, not reading comments on a video on YouTube. And I knew I had an idea where this documentary was going before it came out. We ended the relationship with Terry, the documentarian, on a very bad note, over money, of course. I had former students from Bentley. I had former colleagues. I had friends that traveled on their dime to interview for this documentary. These are people who knew me in all sorts of facets of life that I was then told those interviews didn't make it in.
They didn't make it in, yeah.
But John's sister-in-law, who, to the best of my knowledge and to everyone's knowledge, I would guess, knows they didn't have the tightest relationship. Or a friend of his, there's been 2 friends of his I have never met. I was with John nearly every day for 2 years. I had dated him 20 years before that. And there's some guy and an old girlfriend who I never met. This is the closest you could find to John, people who never saw.
I love it. I love hearing her say this stuff. We've heard Teebs say it, but hearing her say it, it's like, yes.
Yeah. Look at that freeze frame. She's singing. She's spinning them facts.
John and me interact, and yet I gave you friends, I gave you people from my parish, students, colleagues, and none of it made it in. So when the documentary came out, and I can't even remember when that was, I made a concerted effort. I will not watch that. What is the point to get upset? Because I know what didn't make it in, and people come up to me all the time that I saw the documentary. It was wow, what a story it told, and I can't believe what you went through. But my family and friends that saw it, no one's raved about it because they don't feel it portrayed me. But I'm not surprised I was cast in a light that is not realistic.
Yeah. That's what most people say when the movies come out about them anyways. They have to be dramatic somewhere. Of course, you could have just followed this drama because this shit was like As the World Turns. Like, Victor's fucking somebody else today. What is going on? I can't even get home from work fast enough. What the fuck's going on? That shit was fun. That shit was fun.
You watched True Stories, Danny?
No, my grandma did religiously.
That's what I was about to say. My grandparents.
Both grandparents. Oh, my grandma was gonna knock you out with a skillet.
Yeah, don't you come in and turn that channel.
Yeah. Oh, be knocked out.
Prosecution gets it exactly right. The judge gets it exactly right. Then good. That means the system's working. But in my career, that has literally never happened. They don't tend to get it right all the time. And when mistakes, they start to build on each other. And that's when people's rights are that's when they're compromised. And I that's what I can't stand for. So I don't sit and choose a client because it's high profile or because it's not high profile. I choose a client because there's a chemistry there between them and our team, and I feel like I can provide something of great importance to that person at that time in their life, and that is constitutional protection.
Okay, Steve, we're live on YouTube here. Comment section is ablaze. Go ahead. You get somebody wants to ask you a question.
Yeah, we have one from Dagny Taggart who was asking. This was kind of relative to what you're talking about with different cases. Does every case get its own support team? And in itself, or Alan, when you have these multiple cases, are you heading them all with different teams for each one is one thing. And then I have another question before I give it to Alan. From me, you're talking about you don't know if cases need to be famous. When you started with Karen Riiiide, was there any idea where Karen Riiiide would end up when you started it? Was this something that was going to
so good questions, both of them. To answer the first question first, it completely depends, right? It depends on what our staffing is. It depends on how big the issues are that we're dealing with at the firm, as to how many folks we staff on a particular case. I'm lucky. Again, I'm very fortunate. I've got some of the best lawyers in the country working for us, and so I can pick and choose, and I have to pick and choose. Sort of as a field general, I have to make decisions about this situation has to be dealt with in this silo. I have 2 or 3 lawyers that are really expert at that particular thing. May it be motion writing, discovery issues, forensic evidence, things of that nature, and we'll decide amongst ourselves how we're going to staff up the case.
And Better Call Saul fans would know that, HHM can always call Davis and Maine and, hey, we need a little help in this particular area.
Exactly.
You can call in some subcontractors.
Yeah. And if we need to, we do. And a lot of that is that propels the next conversation on who we need in terms of experts to come in either from a particular field, medical experts, forensic experts, computer experts, whomever. So that the staffing all depends on how the case starts to unfold in front of us and what our strategy is moving forward and how we want to defend the case. In terms of publicity, to run Steve's second question, no. When I went to in September of 2022, I knew that there was some local media that had interest around Karen's case. The first time I went to court, they didn't know me. I didn't know them. The media, there were probably, I don't know, I want to say 3 or 4 or 5 cameras.
Yeah, you actually run the risk of being a carpetbagger, right? They're bringing in the LA guy.
For sure.
And
For sure.
Boston, is wicked local there. Who's this guy over there? Mr.
Wicked
Slick and his nice
local.
suits over there looking, fit and all that.
There you go.
And you come in.
So I had no idea that it was going to catch fire the way that it did. There was, as you know, there was a local, there was local interest in Karen's case. And there was a young man who we owe an incredible debt of gratitude to, Aiden Kearney.
Turtle Boy.
And he took the mantle of this situation, of this case on, and began the process of making sure that he was reporting on it every single day. He was getting the word out there. That started to catch fire. And then one thing led to another, and it sort of self-generated and began to explode.
I think I used that picture as a thumbnail one time. My wife was like, "You better be careful doing that." I'm like, what are they going to do? Just take it down? That's all they can do.
Why can't you use it?
I don't know. I used to just pull that stuff off the news websites.
Yeah, I'm not great with rules.
Back in the old days, before we had really.
No,
cool
wait, go back. I want to finish listening
want
to what he
more?
said about Turtle Boy.
That's where we made it to?
Oh.
I was reading the chat for
Oh.
a second there. Here we go.
The next time I went out to court, there was 5 cameras. There were 25 cameras. And the next time I went to court, there were 50 cameras. And then the 100 people turned into 1,000, turned into 5,000.
Oh, it became a traveling destination. It was people who came from Ireland.
Oh yeah. No,
out there in lawn chairs, t-shirts.
Yep, same thing. We had folks that would when we would drive up at the very end of the case, by the time it had gotten to its highest point. Truly, there were people who would shout at us words of support from Australia, from China, from Ireland, from all over the world that came to the location to catch a glimpse of Karen Riiiide and her team.
What a scene. I've got so many more questions on that front and where that's actually going, but let's go back to the courthouse. The arraignment was last Wednesday for Nick Reiner. I was floored. I was stunned when all of a sudden you're on the courthouse steps and you are backing away from the case. So let's play the tape of Alan outside the courthouse here.
We've investigated this matter top to bottom, back to front.
Down in front.
What we've learned, and you can take this to the bank, is that pursuant to the laws of this state, pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder.
Oh, it's the Scott trifecta.
That.
Scott hat trick.
For a guy backing away from a case, you're doing a nice thing for the public defender who's.
It's a Scott hat trick. May not be 1,000 people, but there are 3 Scotts. That's always good.
He went up to the breezeway and 6 a.m. I find him in a heap, missing his hat, missing his shoe, and laying there with a piece of glass in his face. So someone in that house killed John O'Keefe.
The Alberts have stated that they were asleep. And there's footage of you. There's body cam footage of you, like screaming, dash cam footage. How loud were you screaming? Because there's all these comments about, oh, the wind, the blizzard.
I've done research, and my understanding is that the snow can muffle sounds. I don't need to wonder if Brian Albert and Nicole Albert were awake. According to the Commonwealth's own witness. Mine as well, but theirs as well. Ian Whiffen, Nicole Albert at 5 a.m. has an answered phone call from Jen McCabe. Answered and deleted. Furthermore, Nicole Albert at 6:07 a.m. and 6:08 a.m. has 2 more phone calls, each lasting about 7 seconds, from Jen McCabe, answered and deleted. This is not conjecture. This is not my theory. This is in the data. Pour over my phone records. By the way, I had no deleted calls, no deleted Google searches. I actually didn't have any Google searches at all. But I know from the data, according to the data, unless the data is wrong, and this is Celebrite that's was just used to help convict Brian Walsh of murdering his wife. The same Celebrite used by law enforcement globally is telling me that Nicole Albert's phone answered a call from her sister at 5 a.m. and then 2 more at 6 a.m. So that would lead me to assume that Nicole Albert was awake.
Have you guys ever tried to recreate the quote unquote butt dials?
No, because it's not possible. It's not possible. I have called people, and we jokingly, my friends and I, and my family and I, we say butt dial when we mean, like, I may be scrolling through my call log and I accidentally activate that name and it calls. Or someone sent me their number on Instagram and I went to press it down and copy it so then I could save it in my contacts and it called them. And then I'll say, haha, butt dial. But it wasn't an actual accidental phone call made while the phone was completely inert. That's what they're saying butt dials are. Even if you're able to inadvertently make a phone call, they're all doing it in the middle of the night. All of them. Higgins is saying he made a butt dial. Brian Albert is saying it was a butt dial.
Well, it's kind of like a butt dial.
Everybody's butt dialing on the same night. And
did they look at whether it was a full moon? Because maybe it was. Maybe it was all butt dials.
Does the full moon cause butt dials?
Yeah, I think there's been research on that.
Pretty sure. We should be able to find that research on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. There's no research on that.
Butt dial research.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, which college do you go to?
I mean, I wish he would have said no. I haven't tried to reenact, but you know, the journalist who was highly influential in my case did with the Raggedy Ann doll.
That's part of the core curriculum for that degree that Man Shannon had.
What degree? Because we still haven't narrowed that down yet.
No, he
The one that
supposedly
didn't
had
exist or
a
did
bachelor's of general
science and mathematics.
and mathematics and business administration or something like that.
Yes, I am aware that that doesn't exist, and that's one of the discrepancies I've found.
Yep.
B. Albert.
You're good.
Old B. Albert. Look at that. The leader of the crew.
Oh, his portrayal in that Lifetime movie was
Ooh, look at
hilarious.
the freeze frame game.
I think him and Carrie got it the worst.
Yeah, probably.
I believe I used the word butt dials.
Well, I used a phrase that people commonly used as a butt dial.
Not just a butt dial, but a butt answer and a butt hang up on both ends. So you're saying you accidentally called him, he accidentally answered, he accidentally hung up, and then you accidentally hung up. Jen McCabe said the slew of phone calls to John at 1:15, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, she had over a dozen phone calls to John. She's claiming those were all butt dials. What are the chances these people who were together all night are engaging in, if you count them, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 butt phone actions? Answering, dialing, hanging up. They meaning the Alberts, McCabe's, and Higgins, appear to have kept it simple and agreed to several mantras, and just those mantras. One of them was butt dials, and the other, I don't recall, or not that I recall.
I don't remember.
I don't recall.
I don't remember. I don't recall my interview.
I don't recall.
I do not recall having. I don't recall.
I don't remember.
I don't remember if I was tired.
If they were coached.
So y'all ready to do a little premiere?
Yeah.
Premiering. The BLT did something else in the stream already?
Not BLT.
Oh, Cupcake. I saw her shout out that you played on the stream Saturday night.
Yeah, so she finished the video for the short. So
Oh,
hope you are ready. Here we go.
Nice.
Welcome to the SS Cupcake Yacht Club. All aboard SS Cupcake, steady vibes on love already. Floating on his own sea, so sweet, smooth and clean. I don't know what I mean. We're cruising. Gotta try. Yeah. Say it loud, make it chatty, yeah. I love you. Today saying, oh no, yeah. No. Overruled. Keep it moving. If not, there's a special spot for you. Black Island. Already at a speedy ride for you on the SS ship of fools. Bye-bye. Yada, 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 yada.
It's not. Playback speed is normal.
your wife is saying otherwise.
Or normal. That was pretty good. Goodbye.
Ahoy! Welcome to the SS Cupcake Yacht Club. All aboard SS Cupcake, steady vibes on love already. Floating on his own sea, so sweet, smooth and clean. I don't know what I mean. We're cruising. Gotta try. Say it loud, make it chatty, yeah. Galley crew, we I love you. Today saying, oh no, yeah. No. Overruled. Keep it moving. If not, there's a special spot for you. Black Island. Already at a speedy ride for you on the SS ship of fools. Bye-bye. Yada, 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 yada.
Cool. That's good stuff. All right, let's go back to this. Rolling along. Oops.
It was smart. Keep it simple. Because when they start to add details to their renditions of what happened that night, they're completely inconsistent. Brian Higgins said his Jeep was parked in front of the house. He backed it up. He had a plow. He went into great detail, and he jokingly plowed some snow for Brian and Nicole to pull in, and then Matt and Jen, and then he V'd out and pulled in front of the house by the mailbox. Yet Jen McCabe didn't see the car, and she was apparently on night watch at the front door and never saw a Jeep with a plow, which is something memorable.
Never saw it.
Ryan Nagel, Ricky D'Antonio, and Heather Maxson.
Never saw it.
They never saw the Jeep. So my point being, their group thought is simple, but as soon as you require details from these people, their stories are all over the place.
Do you think Chloe, the Albert's German Shepherd, is still alive?
This is the question I get asked the most, is what happened to the dog? And I realize I do not have a dog. I realize this is where society is a lot of us love dogs more than we love people, or just as much. But I get this answer, this question constantly. I have no idea what happened to Chloe. Based on what I know, I would guess the dog is dead. I don't believe it's the dog they claim it is up in New Hampshire. We asked for proof, and all they gave was animal control vaccination records that I can literally go to animal control and get a copy of the vaccination records. And this woman in New Hampshire, who we have no address, no phone call, no phone number for, she's claiming this is the dog. This was his birthday, and this is his vaccination. Well, anybody can get that.
At what point in the investigation did you feel like, okay, this is not an investigation into a tragic accident? I'm being framed. Like, what is there a specific moment it hits you?
So they had my phone in my car within a half hour of coming to my parents' house. So they left my parents at 4:15 on January 29th. They took my phone and they took the car. I was hoping desperately, this is a case of they've got the wrong guy. Yeah. I'm arrested on February 1st. I spend the night in a holding cell, and then I'm arraigned the next morning. I hadn't met in person David Yannetti, but I had already engaged with him on January 29th. He comes to the holding cell at the courthouse in Stoughton, and he has one copy of the police report that Michael Proctor authored. He's holding the police report. Now, they're already calling my case at 9 a.m. It's like 9:10, and I don't know what I'm walking into. I don't know what they have against me. I don't know anything. David is holding the police report, and we're reading it together. They only gave him one copy. So his hands between the bars, I'm leaning in, and we're reading it quick. I don't know how I had the focus to even comprehend and read at that moment. It was like just another fight or flight. Focus, Karen. This is about to be read in front of a courtroom filled with people. The first thing that stood out to me was, it said they arrived at my parents' house, Proctor and Buchnick arrived at my parents' house at 4:30 p.m. and left at 5:30 p.m. And I knew right away that was wrong. I've lived in New England most of my life. 5:30 in the middle of January is pitch black outside. 4:30 p.m. is almost pitch black outside. And I knew when they left my house, my parents' house, it was still somewhat light outside because I remember watching the flatbed with my truck go by the front window. I knew they had gotten to the house around 3 o'clock, and I knew they weren't there for 2.5 hours. So I thought, well, maybe this is how police reports are written initially in a cursory fashion, that they're approximate times, and then we can tighten timelines later. But that always bothered me. And then every affidavit that was accompanying every seizure of evidence after that kept saying the same thing, that on January 29th, we went to the house in Dighton at 4:30, we left at 5:30. So that was the first time I thought, all right, we're dealing with very sloppy, imprecise police. That was my first inkling that this isn't completely ticked and tied. After I was released from the arraignment on February 2nd, that evening, David Yannetti called me and said he had gotten an anonymous phone call from someone saying, you need to pay attention to who lives in the house. I had not even thought about the Alberts. I not one way or the other, just that I knew that was their house and they had been with us the night before, and I had met them for the first time a week before that. So it was very early on. I've been lucky that very early on and at regular intervals since, I have been given gifts of information that helped buoy me. Yeah. I can't tell you, hearing that information from David, and so of course, as soon as David says, this anonymous caller says, look at the owner of the house, I start Googling Brian Albert. And it's within seconds, I find a Google video of him in a boxing ring beating people up. And he looks, I've met him, but I haven't paid much attention to him, but he sounds gruff, and he's walking into some drug bust with some kind of shield and weapons. And he looked like a tough, mean guy. Mind you though, at this time, I didn't know John's injuries in detail. When I found him, he had a cut on his nose on his left side, and he had a cut above his right eye. He had blood coming out of his nose, and his eyes were like eggs, but I didn't know if he had broken ribs or his femur was sticking out of his body. I mean, it didn't seem to be, but I didn't know if he had internal bleeding. I didn't know until I saw the hospital photos in May how obvious it was that this body was not hit by a car or anything like a car, and this body looks like it was beaten up. So it was every couple months. So we got that tip. We didn't get much. March and April of 2022 were very tough. John was in my life so much, so thickly, and then he wasn't anymore. It was the only relationship I've had, and I've had many that, and I'm 45 and I've been dating since I was a teenager, that ended with such finality. I can't call him when I'm out in Boston at 1 a.m. when the bar closes like I did when I was in my 20s. I can't miss him in a few weeks and say, just thinking of you, or can I drop by and see you? I've never been forced to deal with such finality. I've never had a death that close to me. So March and April were difficult. There just wasn't anything going on. We weren't getting any police reports. I still didn't know what they were using to charge me. And it was in May that they finally released the photos that were taken of him at the hospital, and then the autopsy, with two different events. And it was very obvious to me, this is not what they're claiming. There's a cracked taillight on my car, and John is pristine from the neck down, with the exception of his right arm. And coupling that, and David continued to get this anonymous tip to look at Brian Albert. Coupling those together, it gave me hope that I may be able to figure out what happened.
We saw the footage of the second arrest, which was probably one of the more shocking pieces of footage connected to your case. you had no idea that they were coming because you're just in short pajamas and you're begging to change before they take you in. And then eventually they mock you because you beg to change. And they're like, look at how much she cares about being on TV. Have you seen the footage?
I have seen stills of it, but I've steered clear. It is.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
And so that would tick me off too. I don't know that I understand why she hasn't watched it, but at the same time, when you're developing, especially the civil case, because Proctor is one of the defendants, I would think it would be important to know all of that.
Yep. Sucks to watch that shit, but she got freed. That's the biggest rub in the face you can get right there. Let's see if this lady. I was gonna check real quick. Let's watch some more of this while I see if Court TV has that. Well, fuck it, it doesn't matter. Let's go back to this. We gotta get it in.
At that point.
Just can't hear it very well.
Individuals on scene, including the defendant, and you'll get to hear about the full extent of the conversations they had with him. But basically, what he told them was that he was awoken to the fire alarms going off, that he saw smoke coming through the vents, that he collected his family, and that they all exited the house. He tells them that he later went back inside of the house into the garage and backed out Susan's car. It was the Porsche Cayenne that they were all sitting in. He also tells officers that he hurt his hand somehow, that he banged it on something on the way outside of the house. And officers observed, and you'll get to see pictures of the back of the defendant's left hand. There appeared to be some sort of an injury to it. Now, time goes by, it gets to be about 11:45 a.m., and detectives ask the defendant and his family if they would come to the Ocean Township Police Department to speak further, and they agreed. They drive in Susan's Porsche Cayenne, again, the car that the defendant had backed out of the driveway. They take that car and they drive to the Ocean Township Police Department, and they arrive there at about noon. Shortly thereafter, while the defendant and his family are seated in the lobby of the Ocean Township Police Department, detectives receive notification of another structure fire in Monmouth County, 15 Willowbrook Road, in called Snap. And not only that, but they learn that there's a deceased body on the lawn, and that the homeowner's name is Keith Caneiro. Pretty soon they learn that Keith and the defendant are brothers. So let's pause there for a moment now, because we have two crime scenes. We just discussed 27 Tilton Drive in Ocean Township. So let's move over now to 15 Willowbrook Road in Cold Snap. The police were first alerted to 15 Willowbrook Road by a 12:33 p.m. 911 call from a neighbor who reported seeing smoke coming from the residence and a deceased body on the lawn. The first couple of...
All right, I found it on Court TV. It's a lot louder. Let's try this. I don't know if I found the right time. Let's see if it's louder.
There's at least one new person in here. Do you want to recap what we've heard so far in the opening?
No, I don't. Because I haven't heard much of it. Let's see if we can hear some of it.
The defendant had backed out of the driveway. They take that car and they drive to the Ocean Township Police Department, and they arrive there at about noon.
Much better.
Shortly thereafter, while the defendant and his family are seated in the lobby of the Ocean Township Police Department, detectives receive notification of another structure fire in Monmouth County, 15 Willowbrook Road, in called Snap. And not only that, but they learn that there's a deceased body on the lawn, and that the homeowner's name is Keith Caneiro. Pretty soon they learn that Keith and the defendant are brothers. So let's pause there for a moment now, because we have two crime scenes. We just discussed 27 Tilton Drive in Ocean Township. So let's move over now to 15 Willowbrook Road in Cold Snap. The police were first alerted to 15 Willowbrook Road by a 12:33 p.m. 911 call from a neighbor who reported seeing smoke coming from the residence and a deceased body on the lawn. The first couple of patrolmen were on scene within a few minutes. Keith Caneiro's body was lying face down in the grass. The The hood of his sweatshirt had been pulled up over his head, and there was blood pooled and congealed near his head. Signs of rigor mortis had set in, and Keith's cell phone was lying in the grass near his body. The first couple of officers on scene attempted to make entry into the house, but there was too much smoke. Shortly thereafter, when firefighters arrived, they made entry. Visibility was basically zero, but what they located inside of the home were the deceased bodies of 3 more individuals. It was the rest of Keith's family. His wife, Jennifer's body was located on the landing of a set of stairs in the foyer that led down to the basement. Her body was burned beyond any recognition. Their daughter, Sophia's body, was located on the landing of an adjacent set of stairs that led up to the second floor bedrooms, essentially right above her mom. And their son, Jesse's body, was located in the kitchen not too far away. Now, you're going to get to also see photos of 15 Willowbrook Road, both the inside and outside of the house. But just to give you a general description, it was a large house. It sat at the end of a long driveway about 250 feet off of the road. It had 2 stories, a full basement, and an attached 3-car garage. Now, there was this area near the house. If you're facing the house, it would be all the way on the right side of the house, and it was surrounded by shrubs. Behind those shrubs was where the whole house generator was located. It was large, as well as the electrical meter. What investigators found when they arrived on scene was that the generator had been switched to the off position and that the electrical meter had been physically removed and was lying on the ground. Keith Caneiro's body was not too far away in that same area, as were multiple bullets and shell casings. Now, inside of the house, in the basement, there was a cedar closet, and inside of that cedar closet was determined to be the area of origin of fire. Also in the basement is where that severed Verizon fiber optic line was located. It had been physically cut. Additionally, there were some other items of evidence collected from the house, some items of ballistic evidence, as well as a kitchen knife from the butcher's block that was located in the foyer where Jennifer's body was. Now, based upon this evidence, as well as other evidence that you're going to learn about, including video surveillance footage that was pulled from certain areas near the defendant's house, you're going to hear about certain times during the course of this trial that are going to become highly relevant. Mr. Decker is going to talk to you a lot about that timeline in his closing argument. But essentially what you're going to see is a timeline start to form. I'm going to talk to you about just some of those relevant times now. But before I do that, let me first say this about the video surveillance footage. You're going to have the opportunity to watch it. And what is depicted on there is for you and you alone to decide, not the officers who testify about it, not anyone else. However, what the state submits that you will be able to glean from that video surveillance footage in conjunction with the surrounding testimony and all of the other evidence is the following. The state submits that you will see at 2:06 a.m. the defendant's white Porsche Macan leave the area of his driveway and drive off. You are going to learn that the drive time between the defendant's residence and 15 Willowbrook Road is approximately 20 minutes. You are going to hear that at 2:52 a.m. power was lost to 15 Willowbrook Road. You're going to learn that between 3:14 and 3:18 a.m. a series of 4 text messages were sent from Keith Caneiro's cell phone to his brother's cell phone, advising that his power was out, that he'd gone into the basement. The last text message being sent at 3:18 a.m. stating, going outside to check the generator. You're going to learn that at about 3:30 a.m., a 911 call was placed from a resident in Cold Snap who reported having heard a few minutes prior 6 gunshots. You're going to learn that at 3:42 a.m., the Fios optical network terminal in Keith's basement went out of service. The state submits you will see at 4:08 a.m., the defendant's white Porsche Macan returned to the area of his residence and his driveway. And of course, that brings us to 5:02 a.m., when the Ocean Township Police Department received that alert for the basement fire alarm activation.
This defense has an uphill battle, Jeannie.
Now, in addition to this evidence, you're going to learn that multiple items were collected from both crime scenes. I'm going to talk to you about some of that relevant evidence now. You remember Susan's Porsche Cayenne, the car that the defendant backed out of the driveway and that the family sat in and ultimately drove to headquarters. Well, at headquarters, that vehicle was searched. And in the back of that vehicle, in the rear cargo area, officers located a backpack. And inside of that backpack were numerous items belonging to the defendant. His bank cards, his credit cards, his laptop, pieces of his mail, his daughter's savings bonds, his passport, and also the barrel of a 9mm handgun and a gun silencer. Now, in the defendant's basement, there was a metal locker, and located in that metal locker was a gun. It was a 9mm 6-hour. That gun, as well as the barrel and the silencer, were sent out to the New Jersey State Police Ballistics Unit for testing. In addition, the ballistic evidence located at 15 Willowbrook Road, so the bullets and the shell casings, those were also sent to the New Jersey State Police Ballistics Unit for testing and comparison. And you're going to hear about the conclusions of that testing. And what you're going to learn is that those conclusions included a finding that bullets and shell casings from 15 Willowbrook Road came from that barrel in his backpack and from the gun in his basement. But the gun wasn't the only thing found in the defendant's basement. There was this pile of charred items and articles all congealed together that was located right beneath the window well where the fire was started in the defendant's basement. In that pile was a pair of men's jeans with blood staining in multiple areas. Folded up in those jeans were 6 black nitrile gloves and 1 live round of ammunition. Same type of ammunition and headstand that was found at 15 Willowbrook Road. Those jeans and those gloves, as well as numerous other items, were sent out for DNA testing. You are going to have the opportunity to hear from the forensic DNA scientists who performed that testing, and they are going to tell you about their conclusions and findings for each and every piece of evidence that they tested. And what you're going to learn is that those findings, those results, included a finding that these sources of DNA located on multiple areas of those bloody jeans in the defendant's basement came from none other than his niece, Sophia Caneiro, and in one area from his nephew, Jesse Caneiro. You're also going to learn that Sophia Caneiro's DNA was on some of those black nitrile gloves as well as other items in that pile. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to this evidence, there was another kind of evidence that was revealed during the course of the investigation, and we touched on it very briefly, and that is evidence of motive. What you're going to learn is that the defendant's financial circumstances in the months and the weeks leading up to November 20th, as well as certain events that occurred just hours prior to the murders, are what motivated him. And while the state is certainly not suggesting that somehow these murders were logical or even remotely rational, when does murder ever make sense? The state is presenting these circumstances to you for you to consider as to the defendant's motive for how he chose to deal with events and circumstances that all came to a head the night before on November 19th. So one of the things you're going to learn about Keith Caneiro and the defendant is that in addition to their familial relationship, they also had a financial relationship. And it was this, the entanglement of their finances, that was the cause of some discord between the brothers and really the crux of the defendant's motive. You see, Keith and the defendant were business partners, and they had been for a long time. They owned 2 businesses together. Square One was a computer consulting company. It was essentially the more profitable of the 2 businesses, the moneymaker. Keith owned 90% of Square One, and the defendant owned 10%. The second business they owned together was called EcoStar. It was a pest control company, and they owned it 50-50. Now, what you're going to learn is that in the time leading up to the murders, the defendant's financial situation was, for lack of a better term, delicate. It was essentially a house of cards. What you're going to see is that while he made a lot of money, he also spent a lot of money. He had a lot of fixed expenses, a lot of debt, and he was having a hard time just keeping up. What you're going to learn is that the defendant had 3 main or steady streams of income that he would receive in 2017 and 2018. His first stream of revenue came from income that he and his family would receive through payroll from the businesses. Now, he and his family also received their auto reimbursement through the businesses, as well as their health insurance. His second stream of revenue came from insurance disability payments that he would collect. And you're going to learn he collected from a couple of different policies. And the defendant's third source of revenue came from money that he would periodically take from the Keith Caneiro Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust bank account. We're going to talk more about that momentarily, but what's important to know for now is that these were the defendant's 3 main or steady streams of income for those years, and perhaps most importantly, income that he relied on. And what you're going to see is that even with his income, he still had a hard time keeping up with his bills, his expenses, his lifestyle. The first point of contention came down to the businesses, more precisely to the future of the businesses. You see, Square One, the more profitable business that Keith owned 90% of, that had only one major client left. And that it received about 90% of its revenue from that client. That client's contract was set to expire and would likely not renew. Now, Keith had planned for this. He had foreseen this coming for some time, and Keith had a plan for his and his family's future financial well-being. And he communicated this plan to the defendant. Keith's plan involved, if Square One were to dissolve, his plan involved selling EcoStar, the business that they owned 50-50, and using his half of the proceeds from that sale, along with potentially borrowing money from his life insurance trust and or 401k to pay down his mortgage. He wanted to get a job in the marketplace and be done with the defendant, at least in terms of their financial relationship. Now, the thing about Keith's plan is that had it come to fruition, it would have had some negative consequences on the defendant's already delicate financial situation. For starters, he would lose his first steady stream of income, that being payroll that he and his family received through the businesses, not to mention their health insurance and their auto reimbursement. But secondly, you're going to learn that unlike Keith, the defendant would not have as easily been able to replace that income simply by getting a job.
What was the payroll they got? What do you? I'm sure we'll find out, but I wonder how much you think that is.
I mean, if he's getting all that disability and stuff, I would imagine it's limited. But he also only had 10% ownership of the company. So, I mean, he's just obviously living outside of his means. I can't get a chat to go through right now. Will you, I'm going to ask Trey, was that stuff he's talking about with Morrissey and Paul O'Keefe, is that on Grant?
We'll see what
in the marketplace because of his disability payments. Now, the second point of contention, and what really compounded the situation, came down to the defendant's third source of revenue, the Keith Caneiro Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust. During the course of this trial, you're going to get to hear testimony about what an irrevocable trust is, why someone would have one, and the exact terms of this particular trust. But basically, Keith had set this trust up back in 1999, prior to him and Jennifer getting married. Now, per the terms of the trust, it was essentially an estate planning tool, by the way. Per the terms of that trust, whatever money would be in there at the time of Keith's death was to be used for his wife. Now, if both of them were deceased, then per the terms of the trust, whatever money was in there would be used for the benefit of their children. And if all of them should become deceased, then half of that money was to go to the defendant and half was to go to their third brother named Corey. Now, after Keith created this trust, he purchased what's called a whole life insurance policy from Canada Life Insurance Company. The face value or the death benefit payout for that policy was for $3 million. He then transferred ownership of that policy over to the trust so that now the trust became the beneficiary. The idea being that upon Keith's death, that money would go into the trust and then be distributed according to the terms of the trust. Now, one of the things you're going to learn about an irrevocable trust is that once the settlor creates it, so here the settlor would be Keith, once they create it, they give up a great deal of control and discretion over that trust. And instead, they appoint a trustee. In this case, Keith appointed none other than his trusted older brother, the defendant, as his trustee. As trustee, you're going to learn that the defendant was afforded a great deal of control and discretion over this trust. There's no doubt. You're going to hear that testimony. But what you're also going to hear is that that discretion did not afford the trustee to steal and deceive and act in bad faith. Now, like with any life insurance policy, there were premium payments that were due periodically to keep the policy active. In this case, those premium payments were due quarterly. And the way it worked was that a bank account had been set up at TD Bank called the Keith Caneiro Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust. But basically, it was just a checking account. And the way it was funded was through direct deposits from Keith's payroll. Now, the defendant's job as the trustee, or at least the job that he took on, was to make those premium payments from that bank account. So essentially, whenever those premiums were due, the defendant would go in to the online banking account, and you're going to learn that the defendant did most of his banking online. He would go into that account and make those premium payments over to the insurance company. Now, in about January of 2017, the evidence will show that the defendant began taking money from that trust bank account, that TD Bank account, sometimes to the detriment of paying the premiums. Sometimes you'll see he paid the premiums, sometimes he didn't. Now, in April of 2018, Keith called him out on it. When confronted, the defendant told Keith that he accidentally transferred money to the wrong payee, that he went and paid a school loan. $25,054 to be precise, that he accidentally transferred that money. He apologized, he said he would make restitution, and he said that he had his, quote, head up his ass, his words. But what the evidence will show is that not only did the defendant not make restitution, but he...
That's the dude next to the camera. Everybody up here was muted. Prince Lover, got your ass.
Not paid a single payment to Canada Life again after April of 2018. Not one, But what he did do was he continued to help himself to that money in that checking account. And this time was different because this time he began covering his tracks. You see, the defendant began altering the bank statements. One of the things you're going to learn is that the defendant was the only person who had access to this TD checking account, not even Keith Caneiro. And what would happen is he would receive the bank statements and then he would periodically send them over to their accountant, a man named Steve Weinstein, who you'll hear from. The defendant began altering the statements in May of 2018. And what he would do is anytime he made a withdrawal from that TD checking account, he would change the name of the payee on the bank statements to say Canada Life. But in reality, it was going to himself. And you'll get to see the actual bank statements next to the altered bank statements. And this went on for some time. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So now we come to November 19th of 2018. Unfortunately, it was on that day that Keith and his insurance adjuster, a man named Ronald Artigas, who you'll hear from, it was on that day that they made inquiry with Canada Life to determine the status of Keith's life insurance policy. Well, it was then that they learned that no monies had been paid to Canada Life since April. They spent a good part of the day trying to figure it out. And they just couldn't understand it. They just couldn't figure it out because they're looking at the bank statements that they received from the defendant. And the bank statements showed money going to Canada Life. But Canada Life was saying they hadn't received any money. It was that afternoon into the evening that Keith Caneiro made two relatively short, but tragically fateful phone calls to his brother, the defendant. Now, you are going to have the unique opportunity to see and hear these two phone calls. And that is simply because Keith and Jennifer had security cameras inside of their home with audio and visual capabilities. Now, let me be clear. You are not going to see these murders occur. The cameras stopped working at 2:52 a.m. when the defendant cut power to the house. But what you are going to see is these two phone calls. You're going to see Keith Caneiro in his final hours. You're going to hear what he is saying to the defendant, what he is yelling to the defendant only hours before he and his family were murdered. The first phone call took place at 3:50 p.m. Keith called the defendant and he tells him, Canada Life is saying they haven't been receiving any money. He tells him, I need to access the money. And he asks the defendant if he could send him the online password for that TD checking account so that he can go in and do the research himself. The second phone call takes place at about 6:05 p.m. Keith calls the defendant back. And this time, Keith now demands the password for that online checking account. And he's yelling at his brother, I need the fucking login, Paul. Paul, I need you to wake the fuck up. I need to see where the money went. He tells the defendant that he has a couple of hours to get back to him at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock came and went. The defendant never did get back to Keith with that password. Instead, he began making plans. Plans that were executed about 8 hours later when he snuck out of the house in the middle of the night in his white Porsche Macan. And you know how those plans ended. Greed and desperation. On November 19th of 2018, the defendant's house of cards was about to come crumbling down. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're listening to some of the motive evidence in this case and the financial testimony, please keep in mind, the state is not presenting this evidence to you to bombard you with numbers or counting, but the state is presenting this evidence to you so that you have an understanding of the context and the backdrop in which these murders occurred. And I submit to you, what the evidence is going to show is that it wasn't so much about what the defendant stood to gain from Keith and his family's deaths, as it was what he stood to lose. What he stood to lose had they lived. This was my opportunity to tell you a little bit about this case and about what you're going to hear. But it's also my opportunity to tell you about what you're not going to hear and what this case is not about. And what this case is not is some made-for-TV movie with plot twists and shocking revelations and surprise endings. Make absolutely no mistake. This is a case about the evidence and where that evidence led and who that evidence led to. As the state, Mr. Decker and I have the burden of proving to you each and every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. We also have the burden of proving to you beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant was the individual who committed these offenses. And that is a burden we welcome. At the end of this case, I submit to you that the evidence will leave you firmly convinced that one person and one person only committed these crimes. One person who had the means, the motive, and the opportunity. And that person is sitting right here today. And at the end of this case, I submit to you that the only verdict that that evidence will support is a verdict of guilty on each and every count.
Are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry. I believe this is the defense attorney's turn to go
There's
here.
been several people in the chat have said how impressed they were by the defense, so I got to hear it now.
Yeah, it's only 23 or 24 minutes.
Good, because we still have homework.
Yeah, we're getting off here soon too.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here and for your willingness to serve. The prosecutor just got up here and told you about a horrific tragedy. A tragedy caused by crimes that are horrifying and devastating and heart-wrenching. They're unspeakable. There's no words. In fact, no one should ever have to find the words to speak about something like this, because something like this should have never happened. It's heartbreaking. Some of you might be looking at me and wondering, how's she going to defend that? What can she do to defend against such awful crimes? How can she, or anyone for that matter, defend what happened here? And if you are thinking that, that's a reasonable question to have. So I want to be so incredibly clear. I am not here to defend what happened. I am not here to defend against those crimes. I am not here to defend a tragedy. I am here to defend Paul Caneiro. Because Paul Caneiro did not do this. He did not commit these crimes. He did not hurt anyone. He did not harm anyone. He did not set any house on fire. And he certainly did not brutally murder the family members that you will hear he loved and cherished and adored so much. Paul Caneiro is innocent. Now, we recognize that there's a lot of evidence in this case. We recognize that the prosecutor just got up here, and when she told you all about it, it sounds like a lot of evidence. And it sounds bad. We get it. But ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean that they're correct. It does not mean that they're right. Everything that the prosecutor just got up here and told you, the defendant this, the defendant that, the defendant this, the defendant that, that's a theory. And the prosecutor just got up here and she told you this whole story about everything that they think the evidence will show and what they think Paul Caneiro did and why they think he did it and what they think his motivations were. That's a theory. And it's a theory that they developed very early on in this investigation. A theory that the state wants you to believe makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence will show that
What's up, April?
What's up, Donnie?
Oh, shit. So you made it home safe from work. We always worry when women drive.
It can be dangerous.
I don't worry.
Mary B is alive.
She is. There she is right there.
You don't chat.
Oh, I was eating.
I was messaging you behind the scenes to make sure you were good.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
She was doing a welfare check.
Welfare
check.
Hi, Toy. Hi, Lubin. Hi, Iris. Everybody. I'm sure I'm missing.
Everyone.
I wish I could chat on here. It's so hard to do it from my phone.
I manage it. You can do it too, stupid.
I'm too stupid.
Damn.
It's not working.
You can chat, but if you go to other stuff, like if people are texting you or if you have to Google something, like you have to do it really quick or you'll get kicked out of StreamYard.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been in StreamYard on links like that before.
Yeah, you have to be really quick on a phone.
Well, we're just getting into the defense opening statement.
And so far, the consensus is they don't like our collar.
Yeah, I was feeling like this is some kind of like Disney villain, like a live action Disney villain thing.
I've heard a lot of Kardashian references or read a lot of them so far.
It makes
Yeah,
her
she
look
does-
like she has no neck.
She looks like she just didn't finish like the final parts of getting ready. Like she was rushed those last few minutes when you just like do this with your hair.
Oh,
You know?
look fine
Yeah,
to me.
pull it out.
God,
Y'all are
she's
hard.
the female Seagal.
Turning my camera off. Jeez.
Yeah, she's female Seagal with that collar on and shit.
No skull ring.
Not yet.
She's got the nails though.
She might be like Cardi B and have different hair every day soon. That'd be cool.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Theory does
Hello.
not make sense. They want you to believe that Paul Caneiro went to his brother's home, committed these crimes in cold blood, came home, plopped all the evidence down, and then lit his own house on fire so that all of the police and all of the fire personnel and the investigators and the fire marshals and the detectives could come there and find it. How convenient. The fact that the evidence in this case appears to be so conveniently overwhelming is the very reason why you should call into question their theory. And this is a theory that they came up with very early on in the investigation. The evidence will show, and you'll hear that the police, law enforcement, they focused on Paul Caneiro immediately, and to the incredible exclusion of anyone else. From the moment police began investigating this case, they directed their attention at Paul Caneiro, and they remained fixated on him ever since. They did not investigate anyone else. They did not investigate any other suspects, even obvious ones. And they searched for evidence to support their theory. They ignored things that didn't make sense. They ignored things that did not add up. They ignored things that did not fit with their theory. And that's dangerous.
What things?
Because when the police, when law enforcement, when they decide on a suspect first, and then they build a case around that decision, a rush to judgment happens. Tunnel vision happens. Blinders happen. Confirmation bias happens. And that's troubling. It's very troubling. Because not everyone who is accused of a crime is guilty. Not everyone who is arrested and charged with a crime is guilty. Not everyone who sits in this chair is guilty. Even in a murder case. Even in a tragic case. So when the state wants you to believe, again, this theory that Mr. Caneiro committed these crimes and then drew everyone to his own home to find all of this evidence. DNA and bloody clothes in his basement, gun accessories in his bag, his car is being used, his gun is being used, a gas can supposedly of his is being used and left right on the front lawn for all of law enforcement to find when they get there. And by the way, when they got there, they immediately, almost immediately, set up a crime scene because it was so obvious. So obvious. Doesn't make sense. Now, the fact that the state decided on Paul Caneiro, the fact that they decided to accuse and arrest and charge Paul Caneiro, that does not mean that he did this. Sometimes the police are wrong. Now, who should the police have focused on? who should they have investigated? Well, they didn't really mention him, but there's a third brother. And his name is Paul Caneiro. And you heard about this trust. The trust held a life insurance policy. And that life insurance policy by Canada Life is worth $3 million, as they mentioned. They told you that. What they didn't tell you is that the terms of the trust were such that in the event, God forbid, something happened to Keith and his family, that $3 million would get divided. $1.5 million would go to Paul Caneiro, and the other $1.5 million would go to Corey Caneiro.
Oh, he was trying to take both of them out.
And this is part of
But if everybody's gone, Paul gets 3 million dineros.
Well, right. And only, if I'm following this right, only one brother's family, the whole family was M'd.
Right.
And the
The other one just had some fires set in a couple of places. Wow.
It didn't go down like he thought, like in a big
like
flame.
right. It never does.
Well,
I'm like,
overkill in the first one, but the second one, he's like, I'll just
he's like,
light him
I don't
up.
really want to mess up my house.
Maybe if I start fire here, here, and here,
But
and
she's
all
trying to
3
say
fires
that
don't start.
she's trying to say the third brother tried to take the two brothers out in their
Right.
family, but
Well,
only
right.
used the knife and gun on one set of them.
Right, exactly. And also the whole like it doesn't make sense and all that. You're like, it's actually really common for a criminal to be dumb rather than someone else to frame another guy so spectacularly
Right.
they can't figure it out. Like,
Who rides around with their child's like cash bonds in a backpack in a car? Like,
right.
I don't.
Yeah, and I think it's her whole demeanor too just makes me not want to believe it. Like until she finally like mentioned this third brother, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe. But like before that, the whole that doesn't
They
make
just
sense.
blame him for
Like
no
that's
reason.
not. I as a juror,
Just
I would
because
just
they
be
said
like,
he did it.
yeah, don't fucking like talk to me like I'm some kind of idiot. Just let me decide for myself, like using the
Not
facts
because
of the
of the
case.
DNA and the ballistics and the timeline and
Yeah,
right.
and the
You
phone
better
data.
bring some receipts, lady.
I
Yeah,
don't
like
like
you
her
can't even get
demeanor.
your hair out of your collar. I'm not gonna believe
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Like stop trying to be a fashion queen and like
I can't believe how much that's bothering everybody.
yeah, I know. And I feel awful saying that because I don't want to like judge a woman by her looks. And I'm not.
She's
I'm
doing a
judging her by
Madonna
like
music video next.
I just don't think that
She's
it's
beautiful. It's
Like, I
you,
don't-
but she chose that coat thing.
Yeah.
That,
I
like, is
don't think the coat looks bad. I mean, I don't
Injects
like my
power.
hair up under my stuff, but
It's like a Jedi
her
jacket.
other collar's up too, and her hair's just covering it right now. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's weird. It's weird. I'm being petty, but it's weird and she just looks like she's not
It's
serious.
impressive though that they both have done so well without any notes in front of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But she kind of just looks like she's like bitching, you know?
She's better than Lally.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Danny.
Yeah.
I mean, she is
What
a
an,
little bit
what
better
an
than Lally.
accomplishment.
You know? We'll see how good she gets.
same exact motive that the state alleges that Paul.
Way easier to look at.
Well, you also heard that Paul's financial situation was a house of cards. But what you also hear during this trial is that Corey Caneiro's financial situation was even worse. You'll hear they told you Paul Caneiro was on disability. He made a significant amount of money on that disability. He was not linked. They also told you
Someone made an announcement on Facebook that Morrissey's not seeking re-election. I don't know what
the
that is.
trust. There's a trust account. Money was taken.
Well, I'm sure it'll make it out by tomorrow.
They allege it totaled
I just saw
$78,000.
it, but
We're going to address that. during the course
Yannetti
of this
commented
trial.
on it, and Adam
Let me
Deitch.
just say this thing.
Who did?
Both Yannetti and Adam Deitch commented on it.
I just got a Facebook notification from Turtle Boy, but they're always late.
Yeah. Deitch better be glad because if Morrissey runs, he's going to win. That's just the way it is. You got to wait for the man to step down, so somebody else can get in there. It's gonna be fucked up when they get in there too.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know what to do. All them people that have been getting by real easy and not having to do the jobs they're getting paid for. Ooh.
Yeah, not having someone tell them, yeah, you do actually have to turn over discovery by a deadline. Deadlines are reinstated. We're
Yeah,
bringing that back.
the deadline is written on the paperwork there. It's a date, and it coincides with the day and the day of the week. And on that Tuesday, your ass better have the shit in.
I
That's
mean,
the way it is.
the judge doing that. I mean, the DA should obviously implement his office, but the judges don't seem to care either.
Yeah, but they're the ones that have been getting that ride with nobody paying attention to what they're doing unless they win. Then he has a little speech to say then.
Yeah.
I'm calling for a press conference now. But you didn't go over one of the biggest case you'll ever be involved with afterwards to bow out and say you were sorry. You were wrong.
Yeah.
But not going to do it.
You will learn that there is no world
I think
in which
this is April.
Paul
Are we sure this isn't stupid April right here? Like, this is why she's getting home from work late, because she's in court all day.
I had to quick peel that coat off.
Yeah, that's it.
And pop my press-on nails off.
That coat doesn't, you can't get it off in the front. It unzips in the back probably.
I can't even see her nails on my phone. Like, are they coughing or something? What's going on?
No,
Because
they're just short.
Oh,
They're normal. I get mad if they're too long. I start getting pissed.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Your nail length affects your psychology?
very much so. Yeah, I get really mad if I have a touchscreen at work, and if I have to do like this number, like press like that, I start getting furious. Or if my nails touch the key that I'm not trying to type on, I start getting.
They make things harder.
The whole entire hospital system I work at doesn't allow anything besides natural nails.
How do the ladies with the nails that are long enough to like curl around 3 times, how do they get through life?
I have no
I would
idea.
imagine furiously.
Making money with Guinness Book? I don't know.
You seen them. I know Lalene's seen them because they in Louisiana. That's all I'm going to say.
murder his own brother Keith, let alone his family, including his baby niece and nephew, over that money, over $78,000. And we recognize that to some, that's a lot of money.
Was it him?
To Keith and to Paul, longtime business partners who had made a lot of money over the course of years, that was not a lot of money. And even if it was, it would still never serve as a motive for him to murder his family. You're going to hear that not only did Paul Caneiro have a significant amount of money coming in each month, I think it's over $200,000 you'll hear a year in disability, but they told you that there was a potential sale of one of their companies in the works.
What the hell did he get disabled on?
But also, wasn't he embezzling funds? Isn't that why the brother wanted the password to see where this was going?
Right.
Okay. So it's not just about what you were going to reap. It's hiding unlawful conduct.
$200,000 a year on disability?
And that was just one of his 3 incomes. How that's possible legally, I have no idea.
How we got to see the numbers on that. What did you disable? The
Did
goddamn government?
Did they mention an affair in opening statements?
I never heard anything about an affair.
I haven't heard it yet.
So I saw that you did this thumbnail, and I was like, I don't know this. So while I was at work, I did some quick research so I wouldn't be completely out of the know. And I had seen the internet told me that he was funding an illicit affair. That's why he was spending so much, I guess. I don't know what that means, like exactly, but that's what the internet said.
That means probably paying for her an apartment and a car.
Living high on the hog when they're talking about his house and what he drives and only having 10% ownership in the company. But yeah, I mean, it would make sense that there's money going somewhere else.
Right. Like, I mean, it was the same with Murdoch, where you're like, don't you make a lot of money? Like, why are you robbing everyone? Where is
Like,
all this going?
Dusty golds are not that expensive, no matter how many 30s of them you're taking a day.
Right.
Shit, they are expensive too at $10, $12 a pop, probably.
Not what he was stealing.
Yeah, he was stealing a lot of money, but he owed a lot of money to them drug dealers. And it got expensive on him, I believe, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but he stole like 4-point-something million.
Well, you saw what they did every day of their life. Vacation and live it up. That's the Murdoch way, Bo. Get him, Bo.
And they told you that they were working on selling it.
Tell Paul.
And you'll hear that was also going to sell for a significant amount of money. A significant amount of money. Paul was not worried about money.
Paul
And you'll
was
learn that that motive is just absurd.
Paul.
Because you're going to learn that Paul and his brother Keith, they loved each other very much. They weren't just long-term business partners. They were lifelong brothers, 1 year apart, their entire lives. And they weren't just brothers, they were best friends. You're going to hear from people who knew them that how close they were, that they were each other's person. You're going to hear that when Paul talked about his brother, when he talked about his brother to anyone that knew them, that was his favorite person in the whole world. And those kids, Jesse and Sophia, he loved them like they were his own children. And the people that know them know he would never hurt them. You're going to hear that Keith's family and Paul's family, they were so close that they actually considered themselves one big family instead of two separate families. What you're also going to hear is that Corey Caneiro was on the outside of that. He wasn't a part of that. He wasn't a part of the businesses, and he wasn't a part of that close relationship. He was on the outside. They never investigated Corey. They never looked into Corey. They never did a single thing to investigate Corey, not a single thing. They searched Paul's house and they searched Keith's house. They never searched Corey's house. They searched Paul's phone and his electronic devices and Keith's. They never searched Corey's. They got surveillance video from the area of Paul's house, the same way they did for Keith. They never did that for Corey. And they took and they tested Paul's DNA the same way they did Keith, Jennifer, Sophia, and Jesse's. But they never even bothered to get Corey Caneiro's DNA. You know why that matters, ladies and gentlemen? When you have the opportunity to hear from the testimony of the DNA experts in this case, you will understand why that matters so much in this case. Because in this case, we're dealing with family members who you can imagine have very similar DNA profiles, not strangers. And what they also didn't mention is that a lot of the DNA in this case, it's not the traditional DNA matching that you might be familiar with. They used a specific software. It's called STR or StarMix. You're going to learn about it. And StarMix doesn't match DNA like you might be thinking of. What it does is it takes convoluted DNA mixtures and it uses mathematical algorithms. It's a probabilistic genotype software, and it comes up with these likelihood ratios. There's a certain likelihood, it's X likely, that the mixture contains a person's DNA. And so they're going to tell you that. The experts will testify it's X likely that Paul's DNA is in this mixture. You know what we don't know? What you'll never know in this case, because they didn't do it, is how likely it is that Corey's DNA is in that mixture. And more importantly, that's more likely or less likely that it's Paul's. There's other reasons why the DNA in this case isn't as powerful as it seems, and you're going to learn about that, I promise. In fact, you're going to learn a lot about why the facts that they allege aren't what they appear. And I would love to go through all of them with you now, but it would take forever. And as you know, it's a 5, 6 week, 7 week trial. So I promise you, we will go through it. You will learn during the course of this trial why the facts that they allege are not what they seem.
But the niece and nephew's DNA was on the clothes in the basket.
So, I also want you to pay close attention to the evidence in this case as it's presented. I
You
asked
talking about the clothes he had on when they arrested him or something?
No, the clothes that he took off that
Oh,
he
when
started
he
the
changed.
trial with, the niece and the nephew's DNA were on those items' clothing. They weren't destroyed.
I think she's implying that the brother placed those there as a stroke of genius to frame him, which everything
When he
she's
was out doing a 2 to 4 a.m. drive.
right. It's like, well, and also everything she's alleging as far as like, oh, them being close and they loved each other. You're like, yeah, if the brother was here, he'd have an attorney with the exact same arguments, except that guy wasn't embezzling.
And probably not video recordings of him being threatened to give a password several hours earlier
Yeah, and driving
with an 8 a.m. deadline.
Yeah, leaving there at the time that it would take to get there, leaving his house.
That timeline was pretty convincing.
Yeah.
Like he calls the brother, tells him your power's out. He goes to the basement and he says, I'm going outside. The generator's pulled or whatever, the electricity box is pulled, and he's shot right there outside. Like, come on.
She got a long road to
that
hoe.
you pay very close attention to the evidence and the lack of evidence. I ask that you pay close attention to the incredible lack of investigation that was done in this case, especially as it relates to Corey Caneiro. And they want you to follow the evidence. They want you to follow the money. Well, so do we. Because when it comes to the $3 million that was at stake, what you'll learn is it doesn't lead you to Paul. It leads you directly to Corey. That's what you'll learn. Now, they never considered this information. They never considered whether Paul Caneiro actually had a motive to murder his family. And they never considered whether someone else did. And they certainly never considered whether the police were intentionally and deliberately led to believe that Paul was responsible. They did not have an open mind. But ladies and gentlemen, I know that you will. That's why we have a trial. That's why we're here. And that's why we have a jury. And most significantly, very significantly, the presumption of innocence. The presumption of innocence protects all people from a rush to judgment. It protects every citizen from the dangers of assuming, and it protects each and every one of us from the potential of a wrongful conviction. Now, we've all heard of the presumption of innocence. We've all heard of the idea of the presumption of innocence. It wasn't until I heard a story that truly highlighted for me the power, how powerful that presumption is. So the story is this. There was a trial. It was a murder case, and it was over 30 years ago, but coincidentally, it was in Monmouth County in this courthouse. And the judge, during the jury selection process, did something very similar to what all of you experienced. He put all the jurors in the box, and he started asking questions. And he said, juror number 1, I want you to take a look at this man, the accused, sitting in this chair. And I want you to tell me, is he guilty or is he innocent? Juror number 1 said, well, I haven't heard any of the evidence yet. I don't know. I can't say. And the judge said, thank you. Juror number 1, you're excused. The judge moved on to juror number 2 and said, juror number 2, same question. I want you to look at this man sitting in that chair, and I want you to tell me, is he guilty or is he innocent? And juror number 2 thought for a few.
Well, he looks kind of creepy. You need to butter that up a little bit.
The correct answer is innocent if you want to stay on the jury.
Yes, he's innocent. You have to prove that he's guilty.
Exactly. But I'm kind of calling this one ahead of. I don't want to get.
I don't know. My gut's telling me.
Oh, here we go with Mary
Here we
B.
go, Mary B's gut.
Hey, was I right?
She was right. She got it right last time.
Thank
She
you.
didn't get it right. It was hung.
Yeah, but you
Yeah, but
agree.
not
No,
guilty.
don't agree.
Well, I mean, My
We're
my
not gonna
theory
open
was
a can
correct.
of worms on here.
My theory was correct.
Yeah, I'm not ready to make a.
No, I'm
No,
not
I
either.
don't
But
have
like
enough
when he was
information.
just crying a minute ago about the
Yeah.
niece and
I'm
nephew,
just
I don't
saying
know.
this look right here, this creepy look over at me while I'm in the jury box.
It looks
It's
sad.
not. It's
He
not
looks
sad.
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 It
It's
looks
like
like
he's sad
purple
'cause
in my face right now.
He
yeah.
looks sad to me.
I don't know
He's
if it's
doing his
sad
best
or
Donna Adelson impression.
he
He
might be
totally
sad he got
Never. He
caught.
looked
doing
guilty
it.
as fuck the whole fucking
I'll
time.
agree with you. He regrets doing it, and he's sad.
Yeah. He's sad he got caught. That's what he's sad
The
about.
evidence and then said,
Sad those 3 fires didn't catch like he thought they were going to. Most of
don't
the
know.
world's made out of fire retardant material now, especially updated homes. They're not going to burn very well.
I'm curious if he's going to testify, and I'm curious if Corey will testify. I'm guessing probably. I don't know.
I'm sure they'll call the brother. If the prosecution doesn't, the defense will.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see Corey.
She seems a little feisty. I can't wait to see what she does to the
What is the
people in
dynamic
the
of the
witness stand.
attorneys on each side? Has anyone seen? Like, I'm sure this was strategic to go woman against woman, but does each side have a male attorney as well?
I believe the prosecutor mentioned a male.
We're gonna find out.
well, Your Honor, I've been paying very close attention to your instructions. I've been listening carefully, and I know that I'm supposed to keep an open mind, and I will. But I also know I'm not supposed to make a decision until we deliberate at the end of the case. So I haven't decided yet. I don't know. And the judge said, "Juror number 2, thank you. You're excused." And at that point, when I'm listening to the story, I'm also confused because I thought that was a good answer. I thought I'd like that juror on my jury. It's very conscientious
Objection,
response.
Your Honor.
But the judge had moved on to juror number 3. It says, juror number 3, same question. I want you to look at this man and tell me, is he guilty or is he innocent? And juror number 3 said, he's innocent. And the judge said, thank you, juror number 3. Please take juror number 1 seat. You are now juror number 1. Because that is the power of the presumption of innocence. It's that Mr. Caneiro, as he sits here now, as he sits here today, he's innocent. He is an innocent man. That is the presumption. That's the starting point. That's where we begin. Today, tomorrow, the day after, the next day, the day after that, he's innocent, and he remains innocent. Unless and until the state can prove its case. Unless and until they can meet their burden. And that's your oath. To preserve, to protect, to honor that presumption. Unless and until they can prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a very high standard, and there's a reason for that, and I'll talk about that when I talk to you again at the end of the case. But I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, they will not be able to meet that burden in this case. I submit to you that there will be reasons to doubt at the end of this trial. There will be reasons to doubt. I understand this is a tragic case. We know that the allegations are harrowing and beyond comprehension. But that doesn't mean that they're right. Because sometimes the police get it wrong. Sometimes the state gets it wrong. And it is not impossible for the state to be wrong. Not even in a murder case. Not even in a tragic case. And especially in this case.
Not my client's innocent though.
She didn't need to say it. It was implied. I think it was. I think it was a good opening.
Pretty good.
I had doubts at the beginning, but yeah, I'm with her.
I guess I'm exploiting these 2 women too.
I mean, it was a good opening, but if her argument's going to be that they didn't look at the brother or anyone else, it's going to have to greatly outweigh the scientific evidence that the state's saying so far that they have against the defendant. They're going to have to make me doubt that scientific evidence.
Well,
Yeah,
they
they're
have
gonna
to.
show us
They have to
some
make me
stuff.
believe the scientific evidence first.
You're gonna have to show us some stuff. So in 20 minutes, I'm dropping you on Baker's chat. But until then, we'll watch a little more Riiiide. Some Riiiide.
Okie doke.
Balake.
Aaron.
Aaron.
It's very difficult for me. And I've warned my parents not to. I think my dad just watches everything, but I've warned them not to. I'm being charged with second-degree murder now?
That's correct.
I have no idea what this is about now.
This is about the same exact sin, okay? Where's the medication?
Can I use the ladies' room?
I understand. We're going to get
Call
all
your
that.
parents and they can come over and retrieve any item you need or want.
Yep.
I can't put
Hold on. What about the shoe wear? What kind of footwear do you use?
anything, but can I? These are. I don't even have underwear. Can I put pants on?
Again, your parents can come over here and retrieve anything.
We'll get that medication for you. And
Can I put pants on, please?
Can you just step over the side, please?
Where are your pants?
At the foot of my bed. Can I have a pair of
Sergeant,
sheets?
we'll get those. In the meantime, let's follow this trooper right here, all right?
Well, where can I put my pants on?
At the barracks.
Can I put them on before I go out of my house, please?
That's not part of our procedure. Once
Should
someone
I
is
put pajamas?
But
you have a chance to change.
Through the barracks.
God forbid she wants to have some underwear on.
I mean, I honestly don't think she looks bad. It's not like the worst thing to be caught in, but as far as
Everybody's not comfortable going commando.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like being around a bunch of men in a police station for you don't know how long.
Mm-hmm. Commando.
And if I'm not mistaken, like wasn't she on her cycle like both times that she got arrested too?
Oh God.
Yeah, requesting feminine hygiene stuff, and it was awkward.
Did y'all offer her any of your hand rolled tampons?
Jury
Specially made. Special made.
But like them telling you, oh, your dad can grab some when he comes over. Really? No.
Yeah, I always love it when my dad gets to bring me tampons.
Right.
So does he. Trust me. So does he.
Have a seat there for me. Then you gotta put that in your foot or it's got a lock. It's just like exactly. Give me the cameras on her. She's more concerned when she looks like on TV.
Yeah. I'm still recording, just so you know. Okay.
I have seen the footage from my own backyard camera after I was arrested the first time, and once.
Say it again.
At the end, he said, I'm still recording just so you know. So, in other words, watch what you say.
Yep. Be careful what you say.
I started to figure out what was happening. I was frightened. I was frightened about who was on the other side, who was on the law enforcement side that is trying to pin this on me, and who killed John that could be in my backyard right now.
Yeah.
And then I learned about Sandra Birchmore. I did worry. I live alone. I'm like a sitting duck. Yeah. Will I be hanging from a doorknob in my house? Yeah. And they could easily explain it as guilt, depression over what had happened, and she just gave up. So the first 6 months of 2022 were difficult. I had not even been explained to the concept of an upcharge. My understanding was you get indicted on what you were charged for. I didn't realize that.
Like an upsell in a bar. You ask for vodka and they say, what kind? So you're either on the low end with the absolute or you're on the high end with the Belvedere. They got your ass with the Belvedere.
The district attorney can present anything he wants to the grand jury, and they can charge me with anything. They could have charged me with also breaking into the Albert's house and stealing their TV set while I was parked outside. I didn't realize that, and shame on me that I didn't learn that. I was trying to learn as much as I could. During these months. I was reading a book every couple of days just about the criminal justice system and defending yourself and how this works. But June 9th, I was home alone, like I was most days. I would do yard work. I'd put headphones in. I'd wait for one of the lawyers to call. I had been mowing the lawn. I hadn't showered yet. I was wearing boxers, and I actually just had a tank top on. I didn't have any underwear on. And I came in from doing yard work, and I decided I was going to cook for myself. I mean, this was my catharsis. I would go outside. I tried to get sun. I did a lot of, ask my neighbors. I was out in my yard every day, just trying to sweat, at least physically tire myself out so I could sleep at night. And I was cooking. I was trying to eat well. So I was making a pot of chili. I was finishing everything up. I had music on, and all of a sudden I hear voices, and I lower the music. I go to the front door, and my windows are open. My storm door is closed, but the screen is up. And I heard a voice say, "Let's do this in the back. There's cameras out front." I had a very clear, it wasn't a Ring doorbell. It was a higher end private security system, but there was a very visible camera over the front door. But I also had them 360 around my whole property. So I heard that voice, let's do this around back. There's cameras out here. I see 2 cops. I couldn't make out who they were. But I could.
For future reference, that's when you go and get your pants on. Quickly.
Yeah, you don't have to answer the door immediately, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, why
No,
make that?
thank you.
Let's
They
do
can
this
wait.
around back because there's cameras out front. What does that tell you?
They brought them with them.
No, I
Otherwise, they wouldn't know to go there.
No, but I'm saying like they're trying to stay off camera. Like we don't want this on her camera. Like maybe we don't have our body cams on. It was like let's try not to get footage of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
shady.
I would have made them wait while I gathered up all the shit that I needed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, they would have busted her door down after a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't make them wait forever, but
Yeah.
what if she was in the shower?
I mean, she obviously assumed that they would have the decency to let her change.
But we all know now they didn't have any decency at all.
But ridiculed.
Didn't have any to give her when she asked for it.
And also, she had no idea that she could be arrested again. You know, she thought they were just there probably for some other reason because they already arrested her. So why would they be there?
Like a warrant for her phone again or warrant to see something.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I would have assumed that either.
No.
Because Yannetti had been very open with them. You know, I will bring her in if anything else comes up.
Yeah, with pants.
Right.
Yeah, they should have let her put some pants on. That's cold-hearted right there. Oh, it's against our policy. Well, so is all the other shit you did, but now you're worried about your fucking policy when I want to put some fucking pants on.
Like you said, if she'd have just gotten out of the shower, she'd been nude, you know, no one really comes
Yeah,
to
if
the
I
door.
was going to run, I wouldn't answer the fucking door, dummy.
They wouldn't have allowed her to put clothes on, or they would have gathered clothes and let her change under their supervision.
Yeah.
See them walking around by the garage of my property, which kind of requires you to go down into the driveway. The garage sits under the house and then up a hill into my backyard. So I start shaking. I look out a window. I see there's a Mansfield, the town I lived in, Mansfield, Massachusetts, cruiser. And then I think 2 unmarked cars. Maybe there was a third. And I thought that something's happening. The first person I see, now I'm looking out the back window. I'm reaching for my cell phone. I see Michael Proctor in plain clothes walking by himself. Now he's soon to be followed by Buchnick and another state trooper, I believe, and a Mansfield cop. I think the state police have to call in local assist whenever they're in a different jurisdiction.
Oh, she's out back. Outside? Yeah. There's somebody in the house. Yeah.
I mean, look how fast they're moving. Like she's going to run.
I've got it sped up a little bit.
Okay.
We're going to see her running through the woods in her fucking house shoes. Shit. Proctor probably couldn't catch her. But they could have just called and said, can you get your lawyer to bring you down here and book
Like
yourself?
he offered? Like Yannetti offered to do?
Let's just be adults about it. Everybody's not fucking running from the law. If you call them and tell them we're going to come and arrest you if you're not here by 5 o'clock to turn yourself in, then we're going to come get you.
Right.
I mean, it's obvious. Look how they treated TV.
Yeah, because the state's going to be like, oh, this will cost us $5,000. Just go over here and take her down. Like, what?
Have
3
the
cars right over
security
here.
unit go out and get him. I mean, how ridiculous and a waste of resources is that?
Yeah, arresting people at the bus stop where their kids are. Just call me. I'll come down there and turn myself in because I'm not a fucking raging criminal.
Right.
You fucktards. But that's how when he said there's people out front, I mean, there's cameras out front. How the fuck did the cameras know we were coming at this specific time? Like, how would they know? It's not like we posted it somewhere. We're going over here to kick Karen Reed's door down.
No,
So,
I think they meant secure, like their security cameras.
Oh, the security camera.
That's why they
Oh,
said
yeah.
they're holding back because there's cameras out front. Like, what does that
Her,
mean?
her security system. I thought that he meant that there was a fucking
No,
reporter out
not media. Like they were trying
there.
to hide from all cameras. Like they didn't even intend for their body cams to be on and capture their arrest.
Well,
Because
at
they
least with their body cams, they could. I feel like they could go missing. You know,
Right. Right. Like that's the point. Like after Proctor got proved wrong about the car being towed with her parents' security camera, it's like nothing else on camera, dude.
Yeah.
We can't manipulate that.
It's freaking nuts. So it is now 10:30.
How much is left of this part of the what's available on her interview?
Oh,
Because I haven't.
God.
Is it a lot?
About fucking hour and a half. We're gonna finish it next time.
2.5
It's a lot.
I haven't seen this. I haven't seen the Lifetime show. Like I've got so much to catch up on, but this is really good to me.
Yeah, I want to keep watching this when we get on here.
Are you going to pregame tomorrow?
Probably if I make it home in time, for sure. Got to, because Glaire's soaking up all the airwaves tonight.
Glare, we love you, and we're still
Now
going to watch.
Baker's live, so what little people are left are all end up there, so might as well just go there.
That was interesting what y'all played about Jess. Like I was still catching up on your last stream with what was going on with Jess and Baker's reaction. I didn't know that was going on.
I didn't watch any of hers today, so I don't know what happened with that, where it went,
She did stream again today. Like I said, I'm way behind.
she did her 24 on 24 this morning, and
Did
Jimmy
she?
popped on.
She did. She just went live for like 30 minutes earlier.
Oh, did she?
While we were on, yeah.
Did she address the situation that she ended that stream with that y'all were talking about?
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hear anything today. I didn't watch anything. I mean,
Yeah, she mentioned she mentioned MLF for a moment this morning, but I didn't hear her 24 on 24 from the very beginning because Bus Stop Live, and then I just hopped over there and she had Jimmy on, and Jimmy was talking about his new album that he's making with funny songs, and they were howling about it.
I've read some people in the chat talking about play Jimmy's new song. So I've got so much catching up to do. Jeez.
yeah. Well, we're gonna drop it over in Baker's. Let's see what's happening over there. Because we're struggling here. We're struggling. We need to get off here. Plus, I'm starving. I haven't eaten today. It's time to eat.
Time to eat, time to do homework, time to get to bed.
For real. But I am dropping everybody in Baker's chat, so you don't have to go anywhere.
Cool.
Say goodbye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, ladies. Bye, Captor. Bye, ChatRats.
Bye, ladies. Bye, loser.
Puff, puff, pass. True crime, ChatRats. All across the world, we coming through like that. Taking all the facts, put them in a trap, cause we coming through like that. Puff, puff, pass. True crime, ChatRats. All across the world, we coming through like that. Taking all the facts, put them in a trap, cause we coming through like that. When you see the scene, I'm a rat in the pack. Rolling with the squad, got the truth in the sack. With the teams, with the schemes, broken dreams in the crack. History's a puzzle and we bringing it back. Taking all the facts, hand deliver to the chat. Whiskers twitching, we be sniffing where the story at. Puff, puff, pass. True crime, ChatRats. All across the world, we coming through like that. Taking all the facts, put them in the trap. Cause we coming through like that. True crime, where we be every night. Blues on the table, got the case in our sight. Doing what we do, every wrong, make it right. From the shadows we ignite, bring the dark to the light. Crime scene, blueprints, mind sharper than a knife. Rats in the basement, but we running the heights. From the alleys to the penthouse, stories collide. Truth in the whiskers, we ain't letting it slide. Got a map to the madness, every clue's a guide. We the ChatRats, and we bona fide. Puff, puff, pass. true crime chat rats all across the world. We coming through like that. Taking all the facts, put them in the trap, cause we coming through like that.